Abbot.
Affirmative.
This week, the leaders of the free world met at the G8 summit to the usual chorus of shouting from the various assorted unwashed and repellent crowds outside. But enough of the press corps. The real dissenters were two pop stars who berated the assembled dignitaries for not doing what they said they'd do last time they met. This might be because they resent being lectured to by a shouty tramp and some bloke wearing sunglasses indoors who took his name from the dog food Bonio. This week, Channel 4 pulled off a public relations coup by ejecting one of the contestants that they had selected for their stupidity and small-mindedness for being stupid and small-minded. This, they thought, would reflect well upon them after Shilpa Bloomin' Shetty Gate and would paint them in a more responsible light. They would retake the moral high ground. But we know they couldn't find the moral high ground with both hands and a sat-nav.
Yeah.
And this week, the world recoiled in horror at the disgraceful treatment at the hands of the authorities of the delightful and talented Paris Hilton.
What?
Whose obvious distress was ignored by a heartless judge who ripped her from the bosom of her money and sent her back to a fate worse than death, incarceration in a state penitentiary with no hope of makeup or moisturiser. Best news I've had ever, really. I'm back in the bosom of my radio family. Nice to see you, Alex.
Yeah, you don't care about me.
Lucy's back! Hooray! Big hugs, Luce.
Don't touch me! I'll kill you!
That's nice to be back.
Oh.
Yeah. Did you miss me?
Yes, I did.
Oh, that's nice.
I've been working with many and various lovely people, but none compares to you, Luce.
Oh.
I feel like a song coming on.
You've been on a lot, haven't you, I gather?
Oh, but no one in the history of human endeavour has worked harder for longer than I have just now. That's right.
Are we sure?
And I really mean that, yes. It's a statistical fact, yes. And coming on Monday, I've got 3 days off. How's your holiday? Well, I think I speak for Alex and the audience in general when I say that we literally cannot wait to hear you bang on endlessly about your... I mean, tell us all about your lovely holiday, Luce.
That's so mean. We're only a few minutes in and already I'm getting bullied. The holiday was fabulous. It was really good. It was nice to
Really?
be
Please,
away.
tell me more.
Boring! Thanks. Well, I won't bore you with the details.
Oh, go on.
Well, we stayed in a very nice villa.
Boring!
With a nice pool. I'm off now, I'm going to get my coat. I've come back especially just to get this abuse. I only got off the plane a few hours ago.
Really?
Yeah, really.
I can't wait to open my presents.
Well, it's
That was
like
a
when
very long silence.
because I thought you might say that to me. And I thought, what about all those lovely presents you gave me for my birthday?
Well, I thought about it. It's the thought that counts.
I thought about it too, but I couldn't fit any more in my luggage. You know, we did make a huge blunder though.
What?
Big gaff. Bought a lovely bottle of Faustinho.
What's that?
It's a lovely Rioja, and it's a reserve.
Rioja. Listen to you, hang on the... It's gone all Spanish now. Booze. It's a bottle of booze, wasn't it?
It was, but of course we forgot the stupid rule that you can't take more than 100 mils of liquid on hand luggage back with you. And
Well, that includes sealed bottles of wine, does
Yeah.
it? Well, what about the wine that you buy in duty-free?
well, you can buy that in duty free, but you can't buy this wine in duty free. And we'd spent a fortune on this bottle of wine, and they put it in the bin. Oh, it was so painful. And we were saying,
They might have put it in the bin while you were standing there. Of course, as soon as you leave, they'll take it out of the bin and enjoy it in the
Yeah.
squalor of their own Spanish home.
They did say, oh, it's so nice. I was like, yeah, it is. I said, are you sure we can't take it? No.
Oh, that's
not
an
at all.
outrage.
Oh, it was really painful. That was just the worst bit.
But you could have put it in your luggage, though, your sticky-on luggage, couldn't you?
Yeah, we could have done, but then what if it had smashed?
Well, I know.
I mean, I've done that before and it has smashed
Really?
everywhere, so...
But they're so careful with our luggage. How could that possibly happen?
Well, yeah. So that's been the only disappointment, but, you know, we've just got to get over that now, so...
So everybody, and this year we're off to sunny Spain. Come on.
Viva España.
I was going to get the music for you, but I just couldn't be bothered.
I've got some castanets in my bag.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you play them?
Well, I had a little go earlier, but I'm not very good.
Right. You snipped them off a dog, special. Ah, that's actually how they make castanets. Did you know that?
I hope they don't. They look very wooden, my castanets. I'm pleased to say.
Right, so you flew into Malaga, right, and then you had a fight with the car rental agency.
God, have
Did
you
you?
ever flown to Malaga? Oh,
Yeah.
2.5 hours we waited for a car.
No way, really?
I'm serious, 2.5 hours. Like
Well,
the
we got
queue-
through quite easily, in Malaga.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we arrived quite late, I think, then set off in the dark. We were the only people there.
Oh, well, just don't ever go on a Saturday. That's probably the best thing, is that you didn't do it that way. But it was terrible. And then by the time we got the car, the chaps in front said to us, of course, what you got to do is check the car, because if there's any dents in it,
Oh, yeah.
you'll get charged.
I know.
Got to the car, back light smashed,
Really?
a dent all across the back, and scratches all on the side. After 2.5 hours, I was like, this is terrible. So we then had to go all the way back, and the man just shouted at my husband and said, "You've got full insurance. There we go. I've written damage. Now go away." So that was the end of that. So we had to just drive this battered car for a week. But, you know, I presume now we just won't get charged for it at all.
Oh, yeah, presume away.
Well, you just hand it back at the end. It's really
Presume
weird.
makes an ass out of you and me, as people who do crosswords can tell you. Me,
Yes.
for instance.
Isn't that assume?
Well, presume.
There's no A.
Eh? There you go, there's an A.
So you've had a busy old week then?
Oh.
Not in the sun?
Truth. I haven't seen outside, I haven't watched TV, I haven't had any booze. Blimey, that took forever.
Oh dear.
I haven't done anything. And people, and every time I come in here and say, "Hey, you know what was happening on LBC this afternoon?" I'm like, "Huh?" And they say, "Oh, you don't listen enough, do you?" And I'm like, "I'm on the radio too much to listen to the radio." That's
got
my
time.
excuse. Huh?
You haven't got time?
No, I haven't got time to do anything. It's been a total nightmare, Luz.
Have you had time for a bit of porridge in the morning? A bit of shouting?
Well, a half a bowl before I, like, rush out the house. Barely even time for a happy morning sit-down.
Oh no. But did you not enjoy sitting down watching Paris Hilton?
Oh, this is the best thing ever, because I was really, really annoyed that they'd let her out. And I thought, that is just so
Yeah.
typical. Front page of the Sun. That's the best picture I've ever seen. Well, certainly the best picture I've ever seen of her. I mean, that's hilarious.
Weeping.
Because normally every picture of her is exactly the same. She's on a sort of a half profile, and she's sucked her cheeks in, and she's got this sort of supercilious, superior kind of get a load of me kind of look on her face.
Yeah.
And then she goes to the cameras and starts talking about her fans. Fans? People are fans of her because she got born to a rich family. Oh, well done, dear. I cannot stand her. And then when she got out after 3 days, after virtually nothing at all, just because she cried a lot, well, you can imagine I hit the roof.
Well, we wondered if it was a PR stunt all along, actually, at the
What, the
beginning.
whole thing?
Well, it just seemed so bizarre that she could get out so quickly.
Amazing, yeah. Just because she cried. Oh, I don't like it. Oh, well, sorry. I'm sorry about that. We didn't realise you wouldn't like it.
It's supposed to be such a pleasant
Yeah.
experience.
And so they, oh, well, here's the whole story. I love it.
It did even interrupt our holiday because we had to keep running in to watch a bit of Sky News just to see it.
Really? Because when I'm on holiday,
It's sad, isn't it?
I insulate myself from the world completely because, you know, working on the radio, you have to suck in TV news and newspapers, and that's your entire life. And so when I'm on holiday, I'm completely incommunicado. I don't take a mobile, or not that anybody would call me anyway. Thanks very much. And I don't watch TV news or anything. Because you're in your hotel room and you put on CNN, which is always what it is, or Sky News if you're lucky. And you feel dirty, unclean, don't you? Because you're on holiday.
I know, you shouldn't be doing it.
Well, you'll go on holiday to remove yourself from all of that, and then you start sucking yourself back into England when people getting stabbed and shot, and it's awful, and it's raining, and you just feel, you just have to switch it off and run back onto the balcony.
But this was quite cheery to watch.
Oh, well.
I mean, you know, there was an amusement factor to it. But, you know, the fact that did you hear about the meal that she went out for the night before she went in?
No.
She and her family, her sister and her mum, I think, they all went out for this wonderful meal at this top restaurant. And, at the end... At a
Good
restaurant.
grief, how posh are you?
And at the end...
Would you like to buy a tea?
No, thanks. And at the end, they presented the bill to her, and none of the
Oh, that's
family
right, yeah.
even had a credit card on them or cash. They
Yes.
just expected it to be free.
And the last time I read, none of them had actually paid. They said,
No.
"Oh, send it to us, or we'll call you," or something like that.
Isn't that outrageous?
Well, that's rich people for you.
I think that stinks. That really stinks.
The second best picture I've ever seen, apart from Paris Hilton getting carted away in a car, sobbing her face off, was her mother being held up by, it looks like 4 people leaving the courtroom behind sunglasses that look like they're so huge they could be the windshield of a car. She's so distressed. She cannot believe that her money hasn't got her what she wants, probably for the first time in her life. I love it. Petrified Paris Hilton mouthed, "Oh, shall we go for a break and then we'll come back?"
Yeah.
It deserves a full 15 minutes on itself. All right, this is LBC.
This week at Abbott.
We love you long time.
Here, Lucy, have we got any celebs coming in? Petrified Paris Hilton mouthed, "I love you" to her parents last night before being carted off to face a hostile reception in prison. Yes!
You really did that with glee.
I'm loving it. I can't believe that that she's actually going back. I mean, what a great end to this story. I mean, she'll probably get out again because they'll hire
She'll be so sickly, won't
a
she?
blizzard of lawyers, and they'll descend upon this judge, and he'll just bat them away it'll be like a cloud of mosquitoes around him, and he'll just give up and just get her out, and just to just get them off his face. The blonde heiress sobbed constantly during a 1-hour hearing as a court overturned her early release from jail. Oh, I'd love to have seen that. I wonder if this is on American television. Is it on YouTube?
I don't know. I would love to have seen that.
I'm going to
Great.
dial it up straight the moment I get home. Onlookers in the Los Angeles court said that her whole body was shaking and having spasms. She probably thought that by putting that on, that there's just no way that they'd send her back to jail. Because this is a woman, don't forget, that has got everything she wants as soon as she wanted it for an entire life. That's why her face looks like that and is so bloomin' annoying.
She is an unbelievable character, isn't she?
I hate her. Distraught Paris, 26, was last night back on suicide watch at the... She's not going to commit suicide.
For goodness sake. I've never known someone make such a meal of it. For goodness... I mean, how long was it originally? 23 days?
It was originally 40, and then they knocked it down to 23, and
even that was too much, not
and
even
she got
a month.
out in 3.
But now it's been extended again.
And apparently she gets nice... Well, I'll read the whole story to them. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm getting excited now. Distraught Paris, 26, was last night back on suicide watch at the Century Regional Detention Facility just 36 hours after being freed early on medical grounds. What were they then? Medical grounds? What? Crying?
Or being too thin?
Being upset. Talking of too thin, by the way, Kylie Minogue, really? Can we offer you any food, dear? Will
Is
you
she looking
please
a little
eat
bit
something?
Twiggy?
Unbelievable. Prisoner number 9818783, my current favourite number, was put back in her special cell, isolated from other inmates, amid fears that angry lags could riot over her special treatment. I hope... Because in prison, don't they bang their trays against the doors?
I don't know. I haven't been in too often.
Their little trays. I used to get letters from people inside all the time.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
All the time.
Look at you.
And every time I'd mention them, they'd say, "Oh, there's practically a riot going on." Every time we mentioned our names, we're all banging our trays against the door and screaming and shouting.
Seriously?
Yeah. Oh, I'm big inside me. Wardens even ordered a lockdown as prisoners who think Paris pretended to be sick to con doctors threaten a revolt. I wonder what gave them that impression. An insider at the prison said the women inside the jail are seething. They say that if you're a rich white girl, you get special treatment. No. They're furious that while Paris had her own special cell with a panic button, was given better food and was kept away from the general population, she was still released early. There are girls in here with cancer, TB and MRSA. They aren't allowed to go home and are treated by prison medical staff. The prisoners think that if you're rich and pretend you're sick, you can get away with murder. Well, you literally can get away with murder. What's his name? The golfing footballer will tell you that. Ex-inmate Lisa Capri said she suffered a nervous breakdown inside but was kept in there. She said, "We heard Paris was being treated like the Queen of England." Hello. I'm the Queen. It's not fair, she said. My husband fought to get me out when I had a breakdown, but they didn't listen. And Alina Lamb, set free with an ankle tag, said Paris made a nuisance of herself by repeatedly pressing a medical alert button. She was just whining, complaining she was cold and hungry. Simple Life star Paris was hauled back to court in handcuffs yesterday after 36 hours after prison chiefs freed her amid fears that she was suicidal and suffering a breakdown. Oh, come off it. She spent just 3 full days in jail and was released to serve out the rest of her sentence with the 40 days house arrest in her Hollywood Hills mansion, which I bet covers 20,000 square feet with acres of grounds. What a nightmare that must be. I mean, it would take her 40 days to visit all of her rooms. Sheriff Lee Backer defended the decision to release her, saying, "This lady has some severe problems. It's a very tenuous incarceration because of her medical conditions." I mean, which are namely what?
She doesn't think she's a normal human being, does she? That's the problem.
Jail insiders say Paris had sobbed herself to sleep every night. She was heard repeatedly complaining that she was cold and that she was hungry because she couldn't eat the prison food. But once back at her luxury home, Paris celebrated by inviting her family around. A pal said that she had sent assistant shopping and arranged for her makeup artist to visit. The pal said, "It's so cruel what's happened to her. She wasn't allowed to wax or use a moisturiser."
What, in prison?
Her skin is so dry right now.
I would have loved that if she could have come out 23 days later, just this hairy being from head to foot.
Her skin is so dry right now. It's just outrageous. Here, put this on.
Are you allowed to have any kind of moisturisers or anything in prison? Or you just have nothing at all?
Well, I would hope nothing.
I don't know, though.
She was shaking and...
I wouldn't want her to have all her beauty products, but...
Shut up. She was shaking and biting her nails and nodding her head uncontrollably. She was having spasms, rubbing her forehead and neck. Oh, please. This was in the court before she got hauled away again. The thinking, oh, I'll just look really upset because that always... if money doesn't get me what I want, then I'll just look upset. And that's worked her entire life. I'll just start crying. And then instantly she'll get what she wants. Not this time, dear. I love that picture. She was having spasms, rubbing her forehead and neck. She kept shooting fearful looks at her parents. It felt like we were watching her come apart at the seams. Oh. Paris may still get out of jail easily, early rather, as her sentence is likely to be reduced for good behaviour.
That is surely... How is that good behaviour? Whining and whinging and screaming. How is that good behaviour?
Well, exactly. Write that down and send that to the judge. We want contrary arguments to the high-paid lawyers that are going to be assaulting him night and day. Like whining mosquitoes in your face.
And the thing is all children... It's like that typical child thing, isn't it? When you can't get your own way with your mum and dad, and you just keep crying and crying until you're hysterical, and you keep going and keep going, and then eventually you lie there and you think, they're not doing anything, maybe I'll just stop now and go to sleep. Like you'd think she'd give up. But
that's hilarious. Best thing that happened so far this summer. Oh, I'm exhausted, I'm so happy.
Well, that was good. And, of course, I missed all the Big Brothers. Well, I sort of heard about a bit of the Big Brother stuff.
Big Brother. I watched them go in, and I thought, this isn't very interesting. It's a house full of women. I can't stand it. I'm not going to tune in. And so I didn't. assuming that nothing was happening, because the papers weren't very full of anything very much. Nobody tore anybody else's hair out, and so I assumed that nothing was happening. And then, of course, this N-word gate thing blew off, just exactly as they probably hoped that it would, gaining them a lot of juicy publicity, and I bet the audience figures have shot up. Well, I started watching again. I tuned in for about 5 minutes. I have never... Have you been to Barcelona?
Yes.
You know the Ramblers, at the top of the Ramblers, where they sell birds?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
They keep them all stuffed in cages, and the noise coming from those cages of all these psycho birds freaking out because they can see outside but they can't get to it. It's like... like that. That's the noise that was coming out of my TV when I turned on Big Brother the other day. Oh!
Are there any blokes in it now?
Well, one, two questionable.
Right, okay.
But it was just insufferable. These women were like... It was just... it was insane.
Oh, dear. Has anyone had sex yet in their house?
No. No one is going to have sex in the house.
Oh.
Or if they do, it won't make any difference because we won't be able to hear it anyway.
Well, no, that's true. We won't.
Well, not hear it. See it.
See it.
We might be able to hear it, but we won't be able to see it.
Well, sometimes you see the old duvets moving, don't you?
Oh.
Very boring. Well, I'm just thinking, nothing's really happening, is it? Well, what else can they do?
Well, the thing that struck me after I'd turned the volume down a bit.
You could see if it was better in silence.
Like that. It's just. Have you watched this, Alex? It's absolutely insufferable.
Not 1 minute of it.
Not even as a social experiment to see what because we all choose our friends from a very small pool of people. They're all like us, pretty much. And so we don't really go out and meet the general public unless you do a show like this and you take calls from them, or you work in a shop, or you work in a call centre, and so on. Okay, we insulate ourselves from the general public. And so you don't really get to see what the public is like until they put together a show like this. And this is not a house full of unusual freaks. This is Great Britain. And here's how I know why. It's because almost every character in that house is a character of a British comedy. That, Little Britain, that's not a comedy, that's a documentary. That, yeah, but no, but, yeah, but no, but... They're living in the house. At each other. Yeah, she said, and I said, and she said, and I said, and she said, and I said. Oh my God, shut up!
That's why I won't switch it on, because I know the second I do, I'm just going to go. Argh!
It's like waiting for a bus. It is us. That's who we are.
You do hear these gems of things when you're abroad as well with fellow Brits. I tell you, we had some great stuff.
Because your ear is more attuned. You kind of tune it out when you're here because there's too much of it. But when you're abroad, and every now and again a British accent will pierce the... I'm
very good at that, actually. I can do it without my husband even realising I'm dropping in on another conversation. And he says, how did you do that? You were still talking to me.
Wow, you can hold a conversation and listen to another one while it's going on behind you.
Yeah.
That is a scary skill to have.
Well, in a way, on radio, you have to do that a little bit, so I suppose that's why it was easier to act it out as if I wasn't listening. But I was, really, and nodding at my husband, so he thought he was being very interesting, too.
So there's the fat one off Little Britain, which I caught a bit of it last night, which still isn't funny, by the way. Then there's no way of persuading me that it is. The fat Vicky Pollard, everyone's either Vicky Pollard or the, Am I Bothered? That one, whichever that one is. They're all like that. We're all like that. Take a look at yourselves, Great Britain. That's us, that is.
Oh, no. And remember, darling, I don't work before 10 in the morning and never after 4:30 in the afternoon.
That's what I'm going to be saying on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm going to be carrying my little machine around the flat saying...
And remember, darling, I don't work before 10 in the morning and never after 4:30 in the afternoon.
And again.
And remember, darling, I don't work before 10 in the morning and never after 4:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, I can't wait.
Don't you think you'll get bored of playing that?
No, I'll never get bored of hearing it.
And remember, darling, I don't work before 10 in the morning and never after 4:30 in the afternoon.
Will you just be, what, slobbing around?
3 full days. I'm not going to be doing anything.
It might be nice weather. You can get out and about, walk
I'm not
around.
even going to be opening the window.
Oh, for goodness sake. Of course you are.
You open the window and flies come in.
Oh, we had flies when we got back today, outside.
Really? That's interesting. Please tell me more.
No, sorry, that's really boring, isn't it?
You had flies outside?
Yeah, by the bin outside. I think I hadn't quite put
How
the
can
bin lid
anyone
on properly.
complain about flies outside?
Because it was coming from my bin, and that's not nice.
Right.
It's yucky.
Here's a call from America. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir, you're on the air.
I am.
I think
Well,
we've got flies.
What's that?
I don't know, are there flies on the line?
I don't know. That's the strangest sound I've ever heard.
So, what's up?
Oh, nothing. Just wanted to...
Oh, well, I'm glad you called.
Wait a second. What is going on?
I don't know. Maybe we'll call you back, alright.
Okay.
I think we've got a party line. Do you remember party lines, don't you? Do you remember party lines?
Yeah, I do.
Can you believe that there existed a time when people used to share a telephone line? What kind of a country is this? Here's Herne Hill. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, Nick.
Andrew,
I wanted to ask you a question.
question me away. What's your query?
Carbon dioxide, is it lighter or heavier than air?
That's right. Here is Gravesend. Hello, Sue.
It's heavier than air.
Correct. We ask the questions and we answer them.
Exactly.
It's a public service from
What it's
LBC.
all about, isn't it, really? Yeah, been a bizarre day for me.
Hey, do you know what carbon dioxide turns to lime water? The next caller will tell us.
Yeah, possibly.
So what's up, Sue? I mean...
What's up? Nothing's up at the moment.
All right.
It's all calming down. Yeah. Yeah, bizarre day. Lots of children. 150 to 200 of them, yeah.
150 children? Well, it's
Yeah.
your own fault. Are you Roman
I know
Catholic?
it's my own fault, because I volunteered. Yeah, yeah. But aside from that, it's been the weather is lovely. It's actually warm.
Yes, but it's been like walking through soup today.
No, because I don't get warm till it's about 80 degrees.
No, well, me either. And unless it's at least 70, then I have no feeling in my fingers.
No, neither do I.
Numb.
And I'm wearing my body warmer and 3 layers of clothing.
We don't wish to know that, Sue.
Well, you do anyway, you know. So, yeah. It must be really freaky working outside normal hours, because I was awake, because I don't sleep when I'm away, so I suffered sleep deprivation this morning and had to sort of get up at about 8 o'clock.
I'm sorry, Sue, can I stop you there? You suffered sleep deprivation. For the last 36 years, I've been working late
Yeah, I know,
and
'cause you suffer
early.
it permanently, don't you see? So I want to know what you do about it.
Well, you just don't, I set I have 4 alarm clocks to wake me up in the morning, because I got off the air at 1 o'clock, and I had to get up, so you get to bed at 1:30.
Yeah.
And I had to get up again at 7. How can, not in the history of human endeavour has
alarm-
anyone had to work that hard.
Yeah,
For
alarm
so
clocks
little.
have never worked for me. I have to say you're going to get up. Because I just sleep through alarm clocks. I did it regularly.
Somebody
when I
told
was
me
in
about this,
theatre.
this alarm clock that you, it's actually for sale. It has a helicopter-like thing.
Oh, does it?
Which-
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what does that do then?
Well, I was about to say, Sue.
Okay. Carry on.
Do you mind
No.
if I do?
Yeah?
It has a helicopter-like thing that when the alarm goes off, the helicopter thing just springs off and flies around the room and lands wherever. And the alarm won't stop until you
Until
retrieve
you
the helicopter
find
thing and
it.
put it back into the clock.
Yes. I was offered one of those and I said, no, thank you.
Right.
Because I couldn't cope with that. That would stress me out for the whole day.
It doesn't sound like you'd be stressed out, Sue.
Well, I don't do stress.
No, you
Very
sound
often.
vertically
basically, I don't
virtually
do
horizontal.
Yeah, because I live my life saying, well, look, does it really matter in the great scheme of things?
Yes.
No, even my career.
no,
doesn't
I
matter
knew
in
it was
the great
one or the
scheme
other.
of things, only if I can do it without that level of stress.
Right.
And that is my message tonight.
Okay.
You folks have.
I'll pass that on. Thanks a lot, Sue.
Right.
All right, cheer up,
Bye.
dear. Ta-ta. Let's go back to America. Hello, Steve.
Hey,
Much
after
better.
that call, I might be suffering from the opposite of sleep deprivation. I think I'm going to drowse off right here. But that wasn't actually what I meant to call about.
Yeah, you're much livelier than she was, yeah.
Actually, what I meant to call about was the new Olympic logo.
Yeah.
I understand, some people had issue with, but I think it perfectly represents England.
In what sense?
Because England's number one pastime is complaining, moaning, whinging, whatever you want to call it. This flag's already gotten 44,000 complaints. In that respect, it is the most successful Olympic logo ever.
And if we're not complaining, we're writing our name on public property. Yeah,
Right.
and that's exactly what it looks like.
I mean, if Nick Ferrari liked the Olympic logo, you would know there was something wrong with it.
I'm curious, with all the great talk stations that you've got in the States, how come you're listening to one that's 4,500 miles away?
Well, I also have an apartment in Amsterdam, and that's where I started listening to LBC. And in fact, I started listening right after the 7/7 thing happened, because I thought, I'd get a lot of local news on London. And I don't know, but I seem to always tune into shows where they were just talking about nonsense. And I kind of really liked it.
Yeah, that sounds like LBC, yeah. All right, thanks a lot, Steve.
No problem.
Cheers, mate. Ta-da. I think the message from America to Great Britain is...
Stop whining!
Here is Stepney. Ali.
Oh, evening, sir. Hi, Nick.
How are you?
About the person who finds it hard to wake up, she should get a watch which has a vibrating alarm, and that should over, I think.
A what?
A watch.
A watch? I thought you said wart.
No, a watch.
A watch.
With a vibrating alarm.
Right.
And she wears it on her wrist while sleeping.
Yeah, or wherever.
Yeah. That's why I phoned up.
Oh, really? Okay. Thanks for the tip, Ali. I'll pass it on. Cheers, mate.
Bye.
So, back to Luby's holiday. We haven't heard anything about it yet. So what was the drive up to the villa like? Was it a villa?
Hairy.
Hairy?
Yeah.
Because it's up into the mountains, and they're all quite... twisty-turny roads with the cliffs off one side, because you don't really know how vertiginous the mountains are from the coast of Malaga. You think it's all pretty flat, but it really isn't. You go up into mountains that do resemble at some points the Grand Canyon. I mean, there's one place...
That's exactly what we said, actually.
Really, there's one it's really, really dramatic and beautiful. I mean, you think of Malaga and it's a bit, Watney's Red Barrel and fish and chips. But you only have to drive sort of 10 minutes back into land, and you're in, in the most dramatic scenery.
Yeah.
And there's some places up there that are great. There's this, it was like a pizza place that was stuck into the side of a mountain, looking down a valley, and you were, and the balcony outside was just hanging over a drop that just seemed to go to the centre of the earth.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And it was just in the middle of absolutely nowhere, and you're there on your own with a bottle of water, obviously, because you're driving.
Because you've already bought the wine ready to take home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, it's great.
It is beautiful. Very, very hot. It was sort of 31-ish, I suppose.
Oh, that's nice, because it's been bloomin' freezing and raining here. Only in the last couple of days has it been actually what you could describe as nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's why my flowers have survived at home. That's good.
And isn't that news that you want to hear? You go away on holiday, and the last thing you want to hear is that it's been so fantastic since you've been away. No, you want to hear that people have been freezing cold and turning on the heat. I actually had the heating on for a day or so, though.
Seriously? It's been that chilly?
Oh, I think so.
Or was it just that you weren't moving around much?
Well, I don't really move
Shuffling.
The blood that's in my feet sort of stays there for days sometimes. It doesn't actually circulate much.
Oh, the only bit of cold that we had was jumping into the pool. That was tough.
I knew that she'd be irritating, Alex. Isn't this annoying?
Sitting back and let her go on it. Get out of the system.
It was great. We had barbecues nearly every night. We only went to a restaurant one night, which was walkable but I got very scared of the big dogs that we had to pass on the way. Because they keep their dogs outside all the time.
Quite right, too.
But the trouble is, the dogs aren't fenced in half the time, so there was a little villa well, it was somebody's house just at the top of our villa that you had to walk past that's in the middle of being built, and 2 huge dogs there, and as we walked past, they came right up to our faces, and I was like, I want to go home! And my husband was like, no, it's alright, just keep going and don't jump. He said, you like dogs? I don't like these dogs. But
you only like dogs that you can stick in your handbag.
They've got lots of those there too, actually.
Really?
Yeah, scrawny little things, though. Some of them. But the heat is quite stifling, I find. I actually think I'm going off sunbathing a bit, really. I'd rather read my book under the parasol.
I don't understand sunbathing.
No.
On any level. It makes your skin shrivel up so that it doesn't come in your size. It hurts. It's deeply uncomfortable while you're doing it. I can take 10 minutes on each side. Like, as long as it would take to cook toast. That's it.
And you're a lobster.
Yeah. Well, I'm always a sort of a bluey, sort of Daz white. Because I have bright orange hair. So I don't tan, but I just find the experience of being in the sun, lying down.
Not pleasant.
There's nothing pleasant about it. No. I don't get it.
No, I do.
And the people would want to go to another country to do that for 2 weeks. That's a mystery to me.
It's very boring.
Well, boring and painful.
Yeah. But I really like the reading, but apparently I was becoming a bookworm bore while we were away.
I've never read a book on holiday, ever. How can you do that?
Seriously?
Why would you go
just
on holiday to
can't
read a
stop.
book? You can read a book in the squalor of your own flat.
But I rarely do, you see, and that's why it's so good to be able to have a bit of escapism and just keep ploughing through books when you're away. All the books that you haven't read.
But what's the point of going to another country and then looking at something that's a foot away from your face?
Yeah, but what are you supposed to do? Just literally stare outside all the
Well,
time?
no, go and explore and walk and drive
do a
and
bit.
eat and manger or whatever they say
Well,
over
we
there.
do all of that too.
Right.
But, you know...
But I just don't understand the concept of lying down, looking straight up at the sun, it's the same bloomin' sun that you'll see in this country, or reading. What's the point of going there? I don't get it. It's so strange.
Well...
People are strange.
I don't think I'm that strange to go and read a book abroad. Lots of people do. I thought I was quite pleased with myself. I got through 2. And, you know, Alison didn't read any. He just, well, actually did get through 1, but he said it was boring. But I thought, oh, come on, read a bit more. He said, no, I can't bothered.
Yeah, I can't be bothered. Reading. No, I don't get it.
But he sits there listening to music. I couldn't do that either.
But this sounds like a holiday where you don't do any... I don't do holidays where you don't do anything. I go to places where you do.
I don't normally do holidays
do.
like that, but we wanted to have one holiday where we didn't do much, because we've been rather busy over the last year or so.
Busy?
Well, we've moved house, got a
see.
dog, done all the place up, and every holiday we've ever been on has been very active, and so I kind of wanted to do one where we just weren't having to do that, and we haven't been having to get up looking after the dog, you know, all week. So.
Hey, what did you do with your dog when you were... Well, hold that thought and we'll come back. I wonder what Lucy did with the dog. Put it in a little box and stuck it in a cupboard, I bet.
Well, let's get back to it.
So, your poor little doggy. What did you do with it?
I gave him to my mum for a week.
Oh, right. Well, that's all right then, I suppose.
Yeah, I didn't put him in kennels or anything. So he's been having a whale of a time there.
Because if you put a little yappy handbag dog in kennels, it'd be like sticking a Paris Hilton in the LA penitentiary, wouldn't it?
Cry the whole time.
Yeah.
Mine is not a wussy dog like that, though.
I bet it is. I've seen a picture of your dog. It's got a bow in its hair.
He has not got a bow in his hair. He will never have a bow in his hair. He's been busy humping the whole week, apparently.
Excuse me? Really? This show was so legal, decent, honest and true, and then you come back and you just ruined it for me.
I think it's time that the old... I've got to go.
Yep.
The
castanets. Yeah.
Yeah, they're off. And then hopefully he'll start to behave himself a little better, rather than showing off with his cushion.
Well, I know I would. How about you, Alex? Just the threat of it.
I sort of feel sorry for him that we have to do that, but, you know, it's for his own good.
No, it's not. It's for your
It's for
good.
ours.
Yeah.
Well, and also
That's
because
terrible.
you can't just let a dog carry on doing that all the time, can you?
What, when company's around?
Yeah.
You can get
That's
that.
when he does it the most. It's like showing off. It's terrible. Doesn't care at all.
Party trick.
Yeah, smug look on his face, cushions in his teeth. It's terrible. It's very embarrassing. Apparently he even did it out on the lawn so that all the neighbours could see it, Mum's. Isn't that charming?
Your dog is a cushion biter? That's terrible.
All positions as well.
Oh,
Very
come
clever.
on.
My little Oski
All
Sutra.
positions?
Yeah.
I thought they just did it doggy style.
Oh no, he does. He likes it a lot on his back.
Oh, please. How can he do it? What?
He can with a cushion in his mouth. It's awful to watch.
No animal in history has ever done it on its back.
You mean I have an original dog? It's something to behold. Anyway, I won't go on about that anymore.
Please don't go on about that anymore.
I won't.
So how was the villa? Did it was it like it was in the? Because did you get pictures of it before you went?
Yeah.
And was it the same one, or was it not built yet?
Yeah, it was exactly as planned. The only thing that was a little bit scary is that once we'd got to the road, we'd gone up all the mountain or whatever, and it was right towards the end of the mountain. And we got to the drive, and it was just rubble to get down there. Just this really steep precipice, sort of bit of rubble, and so we just thought, oh my god, the car's gonna go, and at the end of it could have just dropped off the cliff, so you had to be really careful to take it round the corner and then reverse into it. But
villas or hiring people's apartments and so on for a long stay is so much better than being in a hotel, because in a hotel you get one room, or unless you pay big money, and then you get a tiny living room and a bedroom as well. But if you hire somebody's flat or house, or go to a villa, for the same money, you get a house.
Yeah.
You can wander around and leave your stuff all over and not tidy things up before the maid comes in.
Exactly. No one coming around, cleaning up your room, and none of that. It was great.
Finding all your accoutrements.
So it was lovely. It was really nice and very relaxing. But I don't know if I'd go. But would I go back there? I'd like to go back to Andalusia, but probably not.
Yeah, did you not travel around? Because Andalusia has got some of the great gems of Europe.
Well, I know. Well, I wish we did plan to go to Granada, but then when we got there, we were being a bit lazy and sort of didn't. So we were in Fricliana, and we also went to Neja, and...
you didn't go to Alhambra?
No, that's what I wish we sort of had
Did you
done.
go to the Mesquite in Cordoba?
No.
Or there's some palace with gardens there as well. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head.
Oh, right.
Seville, very nice. They've got that thing that they used in Star Wars. That sort of orangey crescent moon of a building that looks like it's just dropped in from space. Fantastic.
No, we didn't do that either.
None of that.
No.
Just sat and read a book.
Yeah.
Could have been at home.
Walking. Oh, there were some nice goats on the mountain where we were.
A goat?
Lots of them. They were walked every day for miles, all around.
Goat.
But they had dogs with them, and so the dogs came in our sort of round by the pool. Didn't like that. But
the goats had dogs with them?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
They were sort of being herded by them. 3 dogs. And obviously a man.
Oh, right.
Not just the dogs didn't just go, come along, off we go.
That's the way you were telling it.
Sorry. So that was quite good to see. Sort of, it's a very different life to watch, isn't it? Just to see how people can live a much more basic life without all the stuff that we have all the time.
Yeah, it is. I like Spain a lot, and the things seem to work there and be in better shape than they are here. I mean, there weren't potholes in the road, and you can travel for hundreds and hundreds of miles, and there'll be flowers all down the middle of a highway, and it looks lovely, and this is all well signposted, and everything seems clean and unused. But nobody seems to use the roads that you travel on. You go between Seville and Cordoba and Granada and up to the Ronda or whatever it's called. There doesn't seem to be anybody on these roads, whereas here, crawling along at 5 miles an hour, and every 5 yards there's a pothole that you could lose your car in, and just things seem to be more. They seem to have spent more money on them. But then, as you say, then you go to where you would expect a road to be, up to a house, for instance, and it is just rubble. And one small mistake, one extra wine at lunch, and you're off the precipice.
I wouldn't dare. I don't think you'd dare. If you wouldn't dare have a drink when we were driving around here. But I don't think you can there anyway. It's the same laws, isn't it? The booze?
Well, yeah, but how many police did you see?
Not that many, no. Not that many at all. But, you know, it was nice to be desolate, and the only trouble was the language barrier, which was our problem. That the family who owned the villa, their English was about as good as our Spanish. So we had a couple of whoopsies where we...
Whoopsies?
Well, we rang up and asked for... we wanted to know where the light switch was for the lights outside, so that we could eat outside. So we looked up all the words, and we rang and asked where they were, or what we thought we had asked. Anyway, he was talking and then put the phone down. 45 minutes later, turns up on his scooter with a gas lighter for the hob. And so we were like, oh, great, thanks very much. And by the way, where are the light switches? Oh, right here. Felt very stupido then, yeah. But
so no great drama or disaster or anything we can rub our hands and gloat over? Nothing like that?
No.
How disappointing.
Sorry, only the 2.5-hour wait for the car. That was the worst.
We were hoping for much more than that, weren't we, Alex?
How rotten.
Here, have we got ads here because your screen is gone?
Yes.
What's the ad here, Alex?
Now.
Now? Well, I'm just getting better at this job with every moment.
No time for the old in and out, love. I've just come to read the meter.
Skateboarding is to become a... Finish that sentence, I bet you can.
Sport.
What was the first bit?
Sport?
Well, I don't know.
Skateboarding is to become a...
Olympic sport.
Correct, Amundo. Can you believe it?
My favourite.
Skateboarding. Rumble, 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 clack. The world's worst sounding sport. Skateboarding could make its Olympic debut at the London 2012 Games, it was disclosed yesterday. How? It's our fault. The International Olympic Committee, what a bunch of dopes, has held talks with skateboard officials. Skateboard officials? That's such a bizarre concept. There's officials of skateboarding.
Well, they have team colours to wear. What would you clothe people in?
Metallica T-shirts. The International Olympic Committee has held talks with skateboard officials in Switzerland to agree a timetable for the sport's inclusion. A spokesman said that it was possible that skateboarding could be included in the 2012 Games. The International Cycling Union would need to formally recognise it as a sport and come up with a proposal to be considered by the International Cycling... Well, because it's on wheels. Olivier Queguina, the ICU's Director of Sport, said, "We are doing our best to introduce skateboarding for 2012. I mean, it's not a sport, it's a pastime, and it's a pastime for children as well. Anybody over the age of 17 who's still skateboarding should take a good long look at themselves and get your hair cut, hippie. Groovy. Snowboarding was hailed a success after being introduced to the Winter Olympics, and most of those guys are still in jail. I mean, you could pack away the drug sniffer dogs. All you need to do is ask the people coming in, "Are you a member of the skateboard team?" Guilty.
Want to score some pot?
Skateboarding. If you can do it at the highest level, while you're fat, it's not a sport, it's a pastime, which rules out almost everything that's at the Olympics now.
Can you be fat and skateboard
well,
really well?
I was...
Not when you're flipping and stuff, and ollieing and whatever else it is.
Did you make that up, or do you actually know what you're talking about?
You do ollies on skateboards.
I wish that you'd made it up. That you know what you're talking about is really annoying.
My brother used to do
ollies?
Yeah.
What's an ollie when it's at home?
It's when you flip it up on its end. And you can spin it over and
Right, and then you fall on your arse and say...
Well, there's another nice mess you've gotten me into.
Ollies.
Yeah.
That's all they can do. You see them. You go to the South Bank. I hope they've cleared them all away now that they've re-lovelified the South Bank, or bits of it. They sit there. They stand there in the gloom of that underpass, underneath that building, and they go back and forward, and that's what. And they'll flip the board, and then they'll land on it, and they'll just be so pleased with themselves, hour after endless hour. and that's it. An Olympic sport?
No, 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 no.
Nick Abbott.
Right, so what are we doing?
Hey, Luce, we did a list, reasons to be cheerful, on whenever it was I was last on the air. It seems like I've been continuously on the air for years. The days morph into each other. And you're in it! In it!
Really?
Here was the list that we came up with. Reasons to be cheerful. Clive's back on Monday. It's Who's Its Birthday. Global warming. Hip-hop. What? I've screwed it up already. Global, not hip-hop, hip-hip. Global warming, hip-hip.
Yeah.
Like that. It's lighter later, Americans.
Absolutely.
I'm still here, as in we're still alive and living and waking up in the morning. South Park, booze.
Booze.
A quick relax, a happy morning sit down, the sound of leather on Willow. Barefoot in...
Serious about the sit down?
Well, yeah, that's a reason to be cheerful, isn't it?
Oh.
I'll say. Day doesn't start without it. Barefoot in the park, Brazilians, fresh baked bread, bacon, finding a fiver, being in love, singing and dancing, a dick-a-dum.
Dick-a-dum-dum, a dick-a-dum-dum.
I Feel Pretty, the band Saxon, vinyl, watching others work, a little lion, cheddar cheese and pickle, a white Christmas, big logs, Lucy's back, bye-bye Blair, Beckham's back, dead artists, green, snacks, mugs, sex and drugs and sausage rolls, PVRs, and the winner was pineapple on pizzas.
Hang on, did you say big logs?
Big logs, yeah.
I don't remember that one.
What's that?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
Big logs.
I think you're making it up.
Well, it was somebody called in about trees, and I wrote down big, and I think they like hugging trees or something like that, and so I wrote big logs.
And what about Brazilians?
Somebody really fancy Brazilians.
Yeah, you like the Brazilian girls at football matches.
Oh, I see, right.
And also the Brazilian players on the field, so that's Brazilians.
I see, yeah.
Are there any others you'd like to query?
No.
You see, if you're not here, you don't get to question them.
I would have vetoed your happy morning sit-down. That would not have been allowed on the
That's one of
list.
the best ones.
No.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, without it, how can... There are no reasons to be... No, it doesn't matter how great the day is. If it doesn't start with a happy morning sit-down, then...
Oh, God. We can't discuss this. It's wrong.
Here's East Acton. Hello, Dominic.
Hello.
Dominic.
Hello. I heard you was talking about skateboarding in the Olympics.
Yes.
Yeah. Why couldn't they be in the Olympic sports?
Why couldn't who be?
Skateboarding. Why couldn't that be an Olympic sport?
It supposedly is going to be an Olympic sport.
Yeah, but why couldn't it be? Because I heard on your...
You mean, why don't I want it to be?
Yeah.
Because it's the stupidest sport in the whole wide world. It's the most irritating and annoying, and even if you're great at it, all you can do is rumble, 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 clack. How old are you?
I'm 14.
Stop skateboarding.
Why?
You've got 2 years left to do it. Promise me you'll give it up at 16.
It's a way of expressing yourself.
No, it's not a way of expressing yourself. It's a way of hanging out with your druggy mates in some squalid, dark, damp place and going back and forward for hour upon endless hour and achieving nothing.
Yeah, you achieve it by yourself, though, don't you? You do it, you start off not very good and you get better at it.
Yeah, and when you get better, the best one in the world can do what? Rumble along, flip the board over and land on it.
Skateboarding is something you can always improve on. You never get that. You never get.
Yeah, but even if you're great at it, you still can't do anything. It's the most pathetic endeavour I've ever seen. Stop doing it.
That's your opinion.
And you disagree with me?
Yeah,
well, that makes you wrong then, doesn't it? Awful child. Go to bed. Here's, a mobile. Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. I'd like to support you on the skateboarding.
Thank you.
Why would anyone do that game?
It's just so silly.
It is silly. I'll tell you something. I'd love a pint of bitter.
Here's Aid, who... Well, we don't know yet, do we?
Hello, Nick.
I've got no idea. It's none of my business. Hello, Aid.
Yeah, right. In answer to your question, by the way, it was thrown out a while ago. Carbon monoxide turns lime water milky. So you're listening to your show, isn't it, education?
Yeah, I know. That one thing you've learnt, and that's it.
Well, you know, you pick information up as you go along, don't you?
Well, if we can't be picky about the information that we glean off the radio.
Yeah.
That's the one fact I know. All those years at schooling, that's the only thing I can actually state with confidence that I know.
You could add that to Wikipedia yourself, couldn't you?
I'm going to add it to my CV. Oh, and by the way...
Yeah, passport photographs. You know, I've got to have mine renewed, 'cause apparently now, I don't know if this is true, somebody told me that if you've got less than 6 months on your passport before you travel, you can't get right back into the country.
What?
In fact, somebody I know had, whether it's a wind-up, but apparently the post office told them that that's what you have to do now.
If there's less than 6 months left on your passport, you can't come back in.
No.
I had to get my passport, because I've got a passport that lasts 10 years.
I think they all do now, don't they?
And so the last time I had my picture taken was about 10 years ago. And in that picture, I look like I'm about 12. I have aged so much in the last 10 years. No, Nick, you haven't aged at all. You look great.
The LBC promo photo.
Say what?
The LBC promo photo, that's recent, isn't it?
Yes.
But you look different in every photo I've seen of you.
Yeah, I have stunt doubles stand in for me. I hate having my photograph taken, with good reason.
Somebody said to me that photo makes you look a bit like Crocodile Dundee.
Well, it looks like I've been hit in the face with a spade. But then, that's how I look.
Yeah, but
Crocodile Dundee? He's about 100 years old and has got a face like suitcase leather.
Well, don't shoot the messenger, it's just somebody that mentioned it.
I like that picture, by the way, because it looks as though it's been taken from the next town. I'm so far away in the distance. And it's printed on our website. It's put microscopically small.
Yeah, because at least it's a sensible photo, because a lot of your promo photos they've wanted to make it look stupid, haven't they?
Well, when I first started out doing a phone-in show, of course, people doing pictures for people on the radio, they're always one of two things. They'll have their headphones around their neck, pretending that they're doing a radio show, and if your headphones aren't on your actual ears, then you're not, because you can't hear what's going on. Or they'll be wacky and crazy, and I'm the least wacky and crazy guy you could ever meet, and that one where they tied a lot of phones around me, and it's just I'm not the kind of person who would like to be famous, put it that way, because that would require you having your picture taken a lot.
It's the same as you see, you know, about the phones thing. Like on, I don't have children's TV no more and Saturday morning, do they? But, like, years ago, like on Swap Shop or whatever, when I was a kid, they used to make, you know, pretend that they got the phone to the ear, like that was where the call was coming from.
Yes. There was a programme on BBC, whatever, the other day about, it was called When the Stranglers Met Roland Rat. Did you see that?
No, but I vaguely remember it. I mean, 20 years ago, isn't it?
It was, basically the history of pop music in, children's television. And it shouldn't have been called, I guess it's pointless me talking about this if nobody saw it. It was on one of those, BBC, extra channels that nobody watches. But it was called When the Stranglers Met Roland Rat, and I thought that there'd be an incident, but there wasn't at all. It was not. It should have been called When Iggy Pop Met the Teddy Bear. When Iggy Met Teddy, which is a better title, isn't it? When Iggy Met Teddy, and what happened when Iggy met Teddy was, well, let's draw a veil over it. I think it was hilarious. He simulated wrong sex with a teddy bear on a children's programme. A giant teddy bear that just happened to be just stuck around the set. Well, what kind of a lunatic would hire Iggy Pop for a children's programme in the first place? I mean, he's off his head. And then he grabbed this teddy, and he was doing wrong things with it, Lucy.
Like my dog does.
Oh, worse than that.
Right.
Sounds disturbing, whatever it is.
I mean, I saw it, and I'm a grown-up now, and I was disturbed. Children would have got that's sending out the wrong message, I think. But anyway, you had to have watched it to know what I'm talking about.
Hey, that's another example how silly...
Sorry, what?
That's another example how Roland Rat, how silly this country is. I mean, supposedly it saved TVAM.
Yes.
The,
I know. When you realise when you realise things like that, when indications of what kind of people we are hit you in the face like that, it's quite depressing, really. It does make you want to leave the country. Why Lucy ever came back, I've got no idea.
Yeah, but what, well, just one thing. Why didn't you go away in sort of October when it's cold here? That's what I never understand about.
No, I don't get that either. Why people take summer holidays and go to a warm place when it's warm here? What's the point of that?
Yeah, because you like got your January to March, where you might as well just do what sort of.
You might as well put a bag over your head and sit in the corner of your flat. Yeah, exactly.
And then, like, sort of after September, October, you've got the...
It's a long, miserable slope from about October onwards, when it's dark and cold and raining and everyone's depressed. That's when you want to go on holiday to a warm place, not when it's warm here, because when you come back, you know that everybody will be telling you, oh, it's been terrible here, and you'll be laughing at them. That's the best part of going on holiday, coming back and people telling you how awful it's been here.
Yeah, you put together self-satisfying glow about you.
Yeah, but if you come back and people are saying, oh, we've just had the most fantastic weather, you feel that you've wasted your money in some way. Yeah, so I really don't understand that. If I ever do get to have a holiday again, which looks unlikely, I'll save up, I'll walk home and save up my bus fare.
Well, you are saving you're doing your passport again, so...
Yeah, it does mean that I'll have to have my photograph taken, so maybe I'll take a holiday, I'll go back to Blackpool.
But how long have you got on your passport? I mean...
I don't know, I'll have to take a peek when I get home.
I mean, yeah, that's something you want to do, I mean,
Because you don't want to arrive at the airport and then realise the horrible truth, that's right.
Well, at least it's not like my mate who's going to go on holiday with me. He hasn't got one, and apparently now you can be subject to an interview.
An interview?
Yeah. Before you get a passport.
Really?
I know, that's what it says on the... that's just what it says on this form. I mean, you have to just be interviewed. Some people do, and some people don't. It must be a random thing.
What, go on Parkinson? For a quick probe?
Yeah, it could smile up to you.
Yes. Okay, well, the best of luck with that, Aid.
Okay, cheers.
Put your best smiley face on, all right. No, you can't smile, can you? Because they'll knock you back. You have to be serious.
Oh, no, you can't wear glasses either.
Really?
Because, if you wear glasses, you'd think you'd go through your passport control with your glasses on, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah.
But that's part of it, I know.
So you can't smile, you can't wear glasses, you can't comb your hair in a special way, you can't have your hair dyed, you can't wear a frilly shirt. It's like a fascist state. Anyway, good luck, Aid.
Okay.
Cheers, ta-da. Here is Bexley Heath. Hello, Tom.
Hello there. Hello.
Tom.
Hello.
Yes, Tom.
I'd like to talk about skateboarding, please.
Off you go.
I think it's bloody ludicrous if it becomes an Olympic sport.
Is that your actual opinion?
That is my actual opinion. I think it's a joke, an absolute joke. There's no talent involved in it at all. I agree with you totally. You go up and down. What's the point? What's the point?
All right, calm down.
Do you know what I mean? It's ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. I mean, the one good thing that will come out of it is that hopefully we might get some good crashes to watch, and some of them idiots get injured. Cause, they need to get out more. So.
All right. Thanks a lot, Tom.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate. All right. Ta-ta. The thing that gets me with skateboarding, apart from it's the worst-sounding sport in the world, is that there's just nothing to it. The greatest skateboarder in the world still can't do anything that's very impressive. I mean, at least with inline skating, there's no end of impressive things that you can do because you're limited only by the ability of your body. But skateboarding, you're limited by the fact that you've got this rumbling plank of wood that you've got to keep hold of. I don't get it. Anyway, that's the last call I want about skateboarding, unless there's another one. One more. We're giving... I don't really understand this. Can you talk me through this, Luz?
Yeah. Do you want to do it in a minute?
Oh, should we do it afterwards? Yeah. After the break. And we're like professionals.
This is London.
I'm clear, we're giving away £500 to spend on getting fit for the summer. You better hurry, because it's practically here already. All this weekend with the Sunday Telegraph's free guide, 50 Ways to Get Fit for the Summer. You can go online with lbc.co.uk / is it /?
Yes.
/Telegraph, and answer a question about health and fitness, and you could be a winner. We're giving away 500 quid, as I say, to spend on getting fit for the summer, with 50 ways to get fit for the summer, free with the Sunday Telegraph. The guide is packed with loads of information on getting fit, healthy eating, easy lifestyle changes, and tips and ideas on how you, that show you how getting fit for the summer can be easier than you think. Did I say it right?
That was beautiful at the end.
Greenwich, hello, Sarah.
Hello, my second
Sarah.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. You're my second favourite LBC DJ, by the way. What? Yeah, can you believe that?
Yes, I can, yes.
Yeah. Just thought I'd tell you that.
Right, and you so much want me to ask you who's your favourite, don't you?
Yeah, go, please ask me.
No.
Please.
Who's your favourite?
Nick Ferrari.
Right.
I love him.
Of course, what's not to love?
Yeah, more to love, I say. But skateboarding, it should be an Olympic event, because there is talent in it. Not in it, I mean, in it. Not in it, oh God.
Yeah.
And the guys that normally do it are quite fit. So I was going...
Fit? No, they're not. They're druggy teenagers who never see outside because they're forever in some underpass.
No, they're not. Well,
yes, they are. Go to the South Bank and...
I used to go out with one, I know.
Well, that's neither here nor there.
They're quite fit, and they're quite intelligent. Oh, you don't believe me. You never believe me. It's like when I said Russell Brand is like a comedy god, and you didn't believe me.
Yeah. Has he said anything funny yet?
No.
Oh, that's not nice. You're so mean to Russell Brand. But anyway, that's what I think. And I think there is loads of skills.
No, there isn't.
But not in it.
Because I've seen them do it. They go along, and then they hit the back of the thing, and it flips around, and then they land on it, if they're lucky. And that's it.
Have you seen Tony Hawk's when he's on Jackass? Am I allowed to say that on radio? It's actually a show. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen it?
Jackass. Sounds better.
Oh, sorry.
Jackass. Jackass.
I'm English. I'm not going to say ass, am I?
There's no R in it. In it.
In it. Yeah, and he does his thing where it's loop the loop.
Really? That is interesting.
Boring. Oh, whatever, you Russell Brand hater.
Whatever.
Whatever. See you later.
It's like I said. Yeah, exactly. It's like I said. Yeah, but no, but whatever that is. It's not a comedy. It's a documentary. That's what we're like.
It was actually based on a documentary, wasn't it? All those characters were from real people that they just... Well, not from a documentary, but from
real people. Yeah, we're like that. That's who we are. And am I bothered? And the speed at which they talk. Yeah, but and back to the Big Brother thing. The sort of 5 minutes that I watched the other day before I couldn't stand it anymore. And I felt for that guy that was in there because he's been living in amongst this, and he looked like he was at the end of his tether.
Are any of them are they bright? Any of them?
I didn't stick around long enough to find out. All I saw was that the black girl and some other girls, and the black girl is like, oh God, is there anything that's been invented that will shut her up? Seriously, and it's that they say the same thing over and over and over again, because she can't think of anything else to say, but if she stops talking, then somebody else will start talking, so she just keeps talking, which is exactly what they do on the Little Britain and the other one, whatever that is, the Am I Bothered thing, and they have the speed of talking. It's like somebody's stabbing you in the face.
But people do that, don't
I know, and they do that in order to drown you out, to drown out any dissenting voices. They can't think of anything else. All their mind is screaming at them to do is to keep saying things, anything, so that nobody else can get a word in edgeways.
I heard a great one, actually, in Spain. This woman, at the other table in the restaurant, this woman said, hey, she said, what do you do with your tomatoes? To the other lady, Jane, what do you do with your tomatoes? Well, I leave them out. Yeah, I leave them out too. I never put them in the fridge. Hey, do you put your tomatoes in the fridge? And they all went round the table. There's about 10 of them having a discussion about whether they put their tomatoes in the fridge or not. Even the guys were joining in, and I just thought, have you not got anything else you can talk about? And then they went on to talk about ciabatta bread, which
what?
Oh, you know ciabatta. What she said, Dave's so much better now. Since we've bought ciabatta, it's sorted all out as, as bits down there. And she said, oh, really? Oh, yes, ciabatta, it's so much better than normal bread. It's just completely different.
Well, I'm glad they weren't talking about focaccia.
It was ridiculous. I couldn't believe the conversation. I mean, it was literally like, and then they were like, it's so nice to see you again. Oh, I'm so pleased we've met up on holiday to chat again. And I thought, you haven't talked about anything. Nothing at all. You talked about tomatoes and bread. Whoopee.
It's just a noise that's coming out of them. I suppose they just like... it's not really liking the sound of their own voice. It's being repelled by the sound of silence.
Yeah.
Because then they start to
panic
think
a bit, maybe.
Yeah.
They're not talking about something.
And that's what it sounded like. And that bloke who's stuck in there with these women, why he hasn't killed himself now, I can't imagine. It was insufferable.
Yeah. Women like to talk. Chitter-chatter. But sometimes it's moronic, That's just the way it goes, I guess.
Let's have, Bracknell. Effrey.
Oh, crikey, I'm straight on.
Effrey?
Effrey?
I think it's supposed to have a J.
Yeah, would you like to buy a J?
Buy one? What, and donate the proceeds to charity?
Can I call you Effrey?
You can call me whatever you want.
As long as I call you, yeah.
In fact, you can call me a white honky if you want.
That's
you can call me a white honky MF, but,
very offensive.
Yeah, because I'm not offended by offensiveness. I love it. It's great. It gives me a big thrill in my stomach.
No lower down, I hope.
No, I mean, who isn't offended nowadays? To be offended is the in thing, isn't it? Not, surely.
We're all we all seem to be professionals at being offended. Yeah.
We're excellent at being offended, on the basis of anything you can possibly think of.
But no one actually is anymore. I think we protest too much.
Yes. I think the man doth protest too much, sir.
But
can I talk about a couple of things?
Yeah.
If we're going to go for silly Olympic sports, can we go for cheese rolling? Because I think that'd be brilliant.
That was properly hilarious.
What about neurotic hamster?
Wait a minute. Let's deal with the cheese rolling first. Okay. That was laugh out loud funny because it was so unexpected. They had. Did you see this, you chaps in there? In, I don't know, some backward county in England, they had cheese rolling, where they started...
It's an old established sport.
I've heard about this. It's supposed to be the most brilliant thing to watch, isn't it?
You've got to see it. It must be on YouTube. So they start at the top of this hill, and because the camera is front onto the hill, you can't tell how steep the hill is. And they're all standing at the top, and then they roll a couple of cheeses down, and then some fat men with big wiry hair take a couple of steps forward and then fall on their faces and then roll and just bounce like balls uncontrollably down this hill. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. That is hilarious.
How big is the cheese?
I don't know.
It's like human size.
About how big would that be, do you think?
We're looking at 10 inches.
Here, Effrey.
Yeah, hello.
I've got to go for the new news. Hang on there, all right.
Can I straddle?
You can do anything you like, as long as you sit right there. This is LBC.
Oh, I saw that guy.
Oh. What would we do without YouTube?
Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh, this is hysterical.
actually any cheese rolled?
Oh, I haven't been looking for the cheese. I've just...
It's just human cheese, is it?
They're just bouncing down the hill like balls. Like big, fat, West Country hairy balls.
Notice there's no women involved.
No,
Just
not at
sitting
all.
on the side tutting.
That is hilarious. Look up cheese rolling on YouTube.
Oh, that was very funny.
Very, very funny. Thanks for pointing us in that direction, Effrey.
It just came into my head. But you know the killjoys of life, the people that the Beatles portrayed in Yellow Submarine as the blue meanies. You know the blue meanies. You can't do that and you can't do this and no, that's not allowed.
I am amazed that that is allowed as a public event. The health and safety freaks aren't all over that. It's incredible.
Well, I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to kill it. You know. I think, but I think in the end we'll be banned from getting out of bed in the morning because it's too dangerous. Don't you think?
I hurt my arm by lying in bed. I went to bed for a little nap, and I woke up about an hour later, and I'd hurt my shoulder. Ow!
Stop whining.
Oh, I think when you inhale and exhale, the movement of your rib cage, which
very dangerous.
Very dangerous, yeah, because you could get a crap rig. So if you could just try and breathe a little less kind of aggressively.
Yeah, just don't breathe at all. Much safer.
Yes, exactly. Because when you breathe, you put out carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Do you know that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
More carbon dioxide than came into your lungs in the air.
Yeah, we're not helping.
You're adding to global warming.
Correct.
But your existence is actually now.
We're part of the problem, Effrey.
Yeah. Pardon? You are the problem.
Part of it, anyway.
We are, yeah, we're all quite problematic.
Yeah, you particularly. The amount of hot air that you expel. Good grief.
What about, listen, can you put a list of the things that should be next on the government's list for things to be banned? As either being offensive or unhealthy or dangerous.
Well, we sort of touched on that with one of the lists that I did at the week, which was things that should disappear. So I suppose that covered it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I threw that highly scientific and statistically rigorous list away.
Yeah, well, I think we should ban Bill and Ben, because I think it might be offensive to people with segmented leg syndrome. I'm sure there must be people who walk around that have got segmented leg syndrome, where their legs, or either the flesh or the bones, look a bit like flower pots. And I think the sort of overly offensive nature of Bill and Ben could upset them.
And he only said that so that he could use the word segmented over and over again.
No, that just
only the 3 syllables, Effrey.
Pardon? No, it just means that things are in bits, doesn't it? And they're joined together by bits. You know, that's
bits. A one-syllable word, bits. Yes.
Like the thorax, the abdomen, and the head of an insect. That's
right,
a
and
segmented body.
The thorax is connected to the
thigh bone. And hear the word of the Lord. Isn't that how it goes, the song?
I don't know, I'm deaf to it.
Actually, that song would be a good theme tune for The Fly, because The Fly is where a human being kind of morphs into an insect, because he's kept inside the thing, and he's trapped inside. No, The Fly is trapped inside the thing with him, isn't it?
That's right. I haven't watched that film because I heard it was icky.
Jeff Goldblum, isn't it?
Yeah, he's weird.
Well, he's got lots of money in the bank, probably more than you've got. Even when you've got all those extra hours.
He is weird, though. He's sort of very charismatically weird. He's like another species, Jeff Goldblum. There's just something about him that's a bit odd, but he's just so charismatic. I mean, there's a lot of actors who are charismatic, you know, Jack Nicholson and, well, you can mention all of the greats, but he, while not being in that ilk, he's like a second-rung actor. He's not like, he's not from the top drawer. He is more charismatic than anybody that I can think of. There's just something about him that's really just strange. He's like he's a different species.
Well, he's very tall and gangly, and
no, but it's not that. It's just
his eyes are very noticeable, aren't they? I think his eyes are very noticeable.
Yeah, they're on the front of his face. Yeah.
Listen, another interesting actor is who's that guy who played the murderer in Psycho? Anthony Perkins.
Yeah.
Anthony Perkins. Now he never did anything else. I think talking about being what's that term in acting?
Typecast.
Pardon?
Typecast.
Typecast. Yeah, I don't think he got beyond that one role ever in his career, did he?
Yes. I often feel very sorry for actors, because you see a film that was made, ages ago, and there'll be the person who's starring in it, who you will have heard of. Everybody else in the film, you've got no idea who they are, and that was probably their greatest moment. Everything up to that point was a lead-up to their greatest achievement, to be just way down on the list of people in or people who just walk in the background, and that's all they do. Don't you feel? I just feel.
Do you think? Can I ask you a question?
Sorry for them. It's such a cruel business. It's like no business I know.
Can I ask you one question?
Yes.
Thinking about that, would the directors in the old Hollywood studios days, would they have done casting couches on on the whole of their cast, or was it just a?
It must have been exhausted.
Yeah, they're probably doing this because they said, I'm not doing this because I'm a selfish git who wants to take advantage of you. I'm doing this for the sake of art.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. It is like no business I know.
I need an out, Nick. Can you give me an out?
Yeah, go away.
There's no business like show business, like no business I know.
Everything about it is appealing, Jessica.
Hello, Nick.
Jessica.
Actually, what you're just saying about actors, I think the only thing that I really feel sorry for actors about is that it's there, isn't it, on film. It's an aging process. You know, their aging process. When you think about these actors that are sort of, I saw a picture of Robert Redford. It might be Robert Redford or it might be Paul Newman. This week. But he's 82 years old now.
Yeah.
It's Robert Redford.
And I bet the newspaper was pointing and laughing about how old he looks.
He just looks really, really old.
Well, he is.
Yeah, but in my head, I have sort of an image of Robert Redford, and most people do. So when you see how old they are, it's much more shocking than with anybody normal.
Correct. You have an image of him bursting out of that garret that they were holed up in Mexico and fading to sepia. Yeah.
And they must have all that history to be able to look back on as well. I mean, I don't know if you would, but the fact that it is there, you must kind of catch glimpses of yourself.
Well, this is another reason not to get famous, because people won't point and laugh when you get fat and old.
But anyway, you know that thing that you were saying about the cheddar cheese rolling? I think it is a cheese that they roll down the hill.
Well, yeah, but...
And then they dive after it, and I look forward to the picture in the newspaper the next day without fail. Every year after that competition, there's a picture of some bloke with, like, blood seeping out of a wound, being interviewed on the local news, saying that he's going to do it again next year.
That's right.
And his dad did it before him, and his son's going to do it next, and there's this little kid next to him looking petrified. But it is a very, very funny thing.
Well, we didn't see the cheese because we were too busy looking at ruddy-faced fat guys with a bushel of pubic hair on their head fall head over heels, like a rag doll down the hill.
Big cheese down the hill, and then they just dive after it.
Very, very funny. I mean, just hysterical.
Really, I was saying to Lucy before, when you were talking about the Olympics, I was saying, can you introduce an Olympic sport? Because if you can introduce skateboarding, I mean, obviously it doesn't take much to be considered as an Olympic sport. And I think that every country that hosts the Olympics should be able to choose an Olympic sport, introduce one.
Well, at least we should have an Olympic sport that's got something to do with us. Skateboarding is American. It's just it's just an Americanism that we affect.
But it would be a perk if the host kind of country could introduce a sport that they've got a chance of getting a gold in. But we couldn't do the cheese rolling thing because we wouldn't win. You know, you'd have to make it open to all nations.
Well, we could do...
the Chinese or something.
We could do...
people would launch after it.
We could do Morris dancing.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and gay.
Well, sign yourself up for it.
Yeah, I'll buy some bells and stick them on my feet. Okay. Bells on my fingers, bells on my toes. I've got no idea how the rest of it goes. Hey, that rhymed.
I thought you did that on purpose.
I'm a genius. All right, thanks a lot, Jessica.
Okay.
Ta-ta, my dear. Bye-bye. Here is, hi, Louise.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
I'm all right.
Good. You were talking about watching Big Brother and how much it sort of reminded you of Little Britain and the Catherine Tate show.
Well, you know what? I have avoided Little Britain because I've made up my mind a long time ago, having sat through a half an hour and then another half an hour after everybody persuaded me that my initial reaction was incorrect. It is not funny. And I turned on the TV the other day, and it was Ronnie and Kona, who I'd also avoided because it's another British comedy, and I just avoid British comedies because there's never a laugh in them. But people have been going on, oh, Ronnie and Kona, Ronnie and Kona, Ronnie and Kona. So I thought, oh, right, I won't tune over immediately. I'll just stay with it.
I think Catherine
There's no unfunnier programme being given the label of a comedy in the history of television. That was awful.
Even a Carol Smiley impression.
I've got no idea who Carol Smiley is. I wouldn't be able to pick her out of a lineup.
It's a shame.
Oh, she's the annoying one that does all the adverts for insurance and stuff.
Well, that could be anybody.
She got short black hair.
Ditto. That could be anybody too. No. Well, she didn't do no Carol Smiley, whoever that is. She just did. I can't remember. It was so dull. But but to say that it wasn't funny would be unkind to not funny. Funerals had more laughs than that. It was terrible, and it was followed by. And I thought this is about as low as it goes. No comedy could be less funny than this. And I was wrong because it was followed by Little Britain. Just imagine the hilarity. There was some guy pushing a man that looked like he was retarded in a wheelchair, and he sneezed into his hand, and then wiped the result on a passerby. Oh, the hilarity that ensued from the in quotes studio audience! I never thought they'd stop laughing.
Looking back,
even the canned laughter didn't sound like it was looking at what I was seeing.
Looking back, actually, at some of the past episodes, they're quite offensive, really.
Everything about it was offensive.
Yeah.
The money that they'd spent on it, that it was on the BBC, that it was called a comedy, and everything that they were doing in it. I mean, two men arrive at a tea shop dressed as pantomime dames and sit down and say, I'm a lady, 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 and I'm repeating just to indicate how repetitive it was, and on and on and on and on and on they go, and that was it, for like 5 minutes. I'm a lady, I'm a lady, and the studio audience, or the canned laughter, was wetting itself. They thought it was so funny. I don't get it.
I used to quite like it, but I felt like I had to like it because everyone else did.
Yeah, exactly.
I always thought Catherine Tate was better. And she's the one that goes, whatever, bothered.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it's like I was saying at the beginning of the programme, we kind of insulate ourselves from people like that because we pick our own friends, and most of us pick friends that don't talk like that, so we don't realise that it's not a comedy, it's a documentary. And look at the Big Brother house, they're all talking like that.
It's so true to life, like, even if you're on the bus, and I think half the time that they just go, whatever, I'm not bothered, is because they can't think of anything else to say.
Well, that's exactly the truth. Yes,
Yeah.
Precisely.
I mean, I was reading somewhere that teachers and schools were blaming sketch shows like The Little Britain and Catherine Tate for children saying, whatever, I'm not bothered. But they've been saying that for years.
Yes, it's the other way round. Exactly. The comedy programmes were just copying what the kids were doing. It's not the other way around, yes.
Yeah, because the funniest comedy is the one that's based in real life.
True.
Yeah. And
Although Monty Python would disagree, but anyway.
And the cheese rolling thing, apparently you win the cheese at the end, if you catch it.
And a stay at the hospital of your choice.
Yeah. Apparently there's like loads of like accidents and stuff, obviously.
Really, what would we do without YouTube? Because that comes around on the news once. And if you miss it, it's gone. But it's forever there on YouTube. How fantastic is that? And you know what? 10 years ago, not only did we not have YouTube, I mean, you could say that 3 years ago we didn't have YouTube. I'm pulling that number from space, but that's probably accurate. 10 years ago, we didn't even have the internet in our homes. It's been that quick. It's incredible.
I know. It's good, though.
Yeah. Well, we'll put that on the adverts for the internet. It's good, Louise from Barnsley. All right, thanks a lot, Louise. Cheers, my dear. Ta-da.
Late night. Nick Abbott.
Hi, honey. How are you?
So this reject gets a grilling on TV. Banished from the Big Brother house. Emily Parr emerged from hiding last night following a storm over her racist comment and sobbed, "I am so sorry."
I am very sorry that I screwed up totally I mean, I am so sorry. You just don't know how sorry I am. I'm sorry.
Emily, 19, was sensationally thrown off the Channel 4 show after calling a 21-year-old Charlie Uchia a very bad word beginning with N. Let's think of all the letters of the alphabet that you can't say. You can't say N, you can't say A. Very rude. You have to say pardon. Don't say A, say pardon.
Be polite!
B. B's alright. C. Can't say that because that's also rude. D. E. Can't say E. Very bad. F. That's right out. G. I suppose G's alright.
G's okay.
H. Well, you can say H as long as you don't say H.
Makes me
People
think
that
about
say
person's steps.
People that say H always drop the H's off anything that's got an H on it.
And it's so difficult to say
H. Yes.
It hurts me to say that.
Why add an H when ordinarily, if the word started with an H, you would drop the H? That seems crazy, doesn't it?
H.
So add one when one's not there, and take it away when one is. And I've confused myself now. H-I. Don't start two sentences with the word I, with the letter I in the same paragraph. J. It's alright. K, L, M, N. L sounds like hell. Very bad. M, N, O. Oh. P, right out. Can't say that. Can I have a P, please, Bob? Not while the show's on the air. P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. X. God, a bit dodgy. So most of them you can't say. Anyway, Channel 4 revealed it had received complaints about her. Did you read about this? Channel 4 had received 922 complaints about this infamous episode, all declaring that Emily should not have been kicked off the show. So they received almost 1,000 complaints. But the complaint was that they'd kicked her off.
Well, you never keep people happy. If they hadn't done it, they'd have got complaints. So, it's it's good publicity for them, isn't it? Either way.
Who is this, this woman that's on page 3 of almost every tabloid going? Emmerdale actress Adele Silva.
I don't know. I don't watch it.
And there she is frolicking in the sea somewhere, or in Dubai. And it's very curious that her picture, frolicking in the sea, looking absolutely fantastic, like she's been made up and buffed from head to toe, is in the page 3 of the Sun and the Star. I didn't see the Mirror today, but it's probably in that too. Curious how the photographer just happened to be there, with the light just right, and her posing perfectly for these saucy snaps. Her agent got onto the, okay, meet us there at 2 o'clock and we'll just parade up and down the beach till you've got all the snaps you want.
Probably get some nice fee for that. Oh, that's another thing I heard about Paris Hilton.
What?
Guess how much money she gets for turning up to a party? 400 grand.
Oh, get out.
I'm serious. To show up at a party. That's how she makes her living. Apart from having loads of money anyway.
Yeah.
Isn't that outrageous?
It is outrageous. They should give her the chair. I mean it. Mill Hill. Hello, Lucy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm all right.
That's good. I didn't tell you who it was.
Pardon?
I didn't tell you who it was.
Well,
you recognise my number.
I've been listening to that show on Friday night.
Ah, okay.
I'm psychic.
Tell me something. Why, you missed out on the G's. What's wrong with golly?
What, as in golly gosh?
No, with the W.
With a W?
Yeah, the doll.
Golly doesn't have a W in it.
No, but the word, the bit after.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you
one
saying?
Word. Pardon?
What are you saying?
You were going through the alphabet saying...
Right. Well, G doesn't stand for golly.
Gollywog.
Well, yeah. I knew that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
Well, what's your point?
No, you said it was okay to say G, but it isn't.
Well, G stands for great, or goodbye, or any number of things it stands for. Yes, good grief. Hartford. Hello, Dorry.
Yeah, hello.
Dorry.
Why is it that,
Why, oh, why?
why do I have to apologise for being 80? It seems as if today's...
It's 2 in a row on the Nicky Abbott show.
I don't know. It just seems that today's people don't seem to like old people who have been through life and been there and done it.
There's no respect anymore, is there? You're quite right.
Be polite!
Be polite.
I'm not even saying be polite. It's just that we've just disappeared into the background. When we go shopping, we're not there. When somebody says next customer, we're not there.
Where are you?
I just don't know what's going on. Do you?
Does it sound like I know what's going on?
No.
Oh, thanks.
What I phoned up about was...
Yeah.
I've had, since my 40s, and I'm now 80, and I've had this ringing in my ears, and it's been driving me mad. And I was hoping that I might be able to help people to sort of get over it. I bought a herbal drug, which is ginkgo...
Ginkgo biloba.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And it works.
With
All the time
tinnitus?
I've got a clear head.
Huh.
No ringing, no nothing.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
So ginkgo biloba, or whatever it's called.
Whatever, yeah.
And how do you take it? Pour it in your ear?
One a day. One a day.
Oh, it's in tablet form, is it?
Yeah.
And it cures tinnitus?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, if you learn nothing else from this show, you'll have learnt nothing else from this show.
At least as a stupid 80-year-old, I've sort of given you a little bit of information. And I do love your laid-back attitude.
Thanks a lot, Dory.
Yeah, okay.
Cheers, my dear. Ta-ta.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Huh.
That's a great little tidbit.
Well, it's something to try, because that must be really, really annoying, tinnitus.
It's terrible.
Ringing in the ear, yeah, and there's nothing that the medical profession could do. Well, add it to the list of things. In fact, I'm amazed I haven't got it, because I get everything that the medical profession have got nothing for. Hey, I was reading, somebody called in the other day and said, you've got a page on Wikipedia. Wikipedia. Yeah. And the wiki prefix, apparently, means that the public can join in or fix it or
edit
something.
it, yeah.
Yeah. But whoever invented... why wiki? What's that got to do with anything? W-I-K-I. Why does that denote that the public can fiddle about with it?
No idea. Have you been fiddled about with?
If only. And so I read it today. Well, I didn't read it. I sort of... because they've got things that... supposedly catchphrases that I've got.
Oh, yeah.
Some of which don't make any sense at all. Like there'll be one that says yes. He says yes a lot. Like, that's a catchphrase. I'm exaggerating for comic effect, but it's, along those lines. And they said that recently I've been hospitalised with a near-death experience, which is quite right, because of a high cholesterol level. High cholesterol? What? No, it wasn't.
I can see why someone would put that, though, because haven't you talked about cholesterol in the past?
Well, I was tested for high cholesterol, and apparently I had the cholesterol level of butter.
That's right. That was before you had your near-death experience, though, wasn't it?
No, that was during.
Oh, it was during?
Yeah, which I think probably gave a false reading, yeah.
Oh, I see.
I actually had olive oil for blood. I had such high cholesterol.
Well, olive oil would be good.
I knew you were going to say that. As soon as I said olive oil, I thought, oh, God, I've made a mistake there.
Lard for blood.
Yeah, I actually had bacon juice seeping out my pores.
You didn't then, though, because you were a veggie.
Bacon.
Have you been eating more meat recently?
Well, I'm still stuck with pigs and chickens. But chickens, that's pretty much like a vegetable anyway, isn't it?
We're running late!
So how long were you away for, Luce?
A whole week.
A week? Well, that's not so long.
No.
Don't you find that when you come back from holiday, even if it is just a short period of time, and nothing has changed, you feel a bit put out, that everything can get along well without you? And I don't just mean in the building, I mean, just in London generally. Like, you come back and you've been away and you've done all these exciting things and been, afar and, tripped around and you've been doing different. And then you come back and it's a bit deflating to find that everything is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Don't you find?
Yeah. You expect a lot of new news, don't you,
Well,
when you
yeah.
get back? And I expect things to look a little bit different.
Exactly.
I half expect to walk in my house and it to look different. And it, of course, doesn't.
Yeah. Well, at least it was still there.
Well, yeah, that's very true. It was nice.
How's the lady over the road? Is she still doing
Well, she's busy.
business?
I believe so, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I try not to look.
Because you used to live in such a lovely place, didn't you?
It was lovely. Next door to the kebab shop.
Well, that's not how I'm picturing it at all. I thought that it was among rolling hills,
Oh, yes, that's right.
with little fawns gambling across your lawn,
Yeah.
kept in by your white picket fence, bunny rabbits hopping to and fro, and your house made of gingerbread. And then you moved into an inner-city slum, with a prosy over the road, and a crack house next door, and rats in the kitchen. What am you going to do? How'd you like that new house so far, Luce?
I hate it! Talking of the mice, we caught one.
Where?
We
I'm gonna have to edit where off the front of that, because I always say where, and then he repeats where. Where?
There on the stair, where on the stair, right there.
Everyone.
A little mouse with clogs on. Well, I declare, going clip-clippity-clop on the stair.
Do-do-do-do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I need to have my clackers out, don't I, just at the end?
Yeah, get your get your clackers out.
Oh, you're so rude. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, we caught a little mouse. So, you know we bought humane traps.
What are they?
Well,
Are they made with glue?
no.
Some awful woman was talking about...
Oh, that's terrible.
She trapped a mouse with glue,
That's
some sort of glue
barbaric,
trap. Well,
yeah.
I can't imagine that any glue would be quick setting enough to trap a mouse.
They are. They're really vile.
And she wondered what to do with it.
Well.
I think she flung it out the window.
Oh, yeah,
or
I remember
something.
that story. It was horrible.
Horrible.
Nasty. I wouldn't do that. Anyway, we left these traps where we knew that they were going all the time, and I'd carefully put some Easter egg in the end of it because they like a bit of that.
Easter egg?
Yeah, I love that. I like a bit
Well,
of
how-
chucky and a bit of peanut butter.
How is there how do you...
Well-
don't you eat your Easter egg?
I don't really like
It's
Easter eggs
June.
particularly.
Right.
So I just lobbed off a little bits of them and put them in the...
Because I imagine they're made with... excuse me.
Delicious chocolate.
I imagine they're made with scrapings that they just melt. All the extra bits that they don't use for actual proper bars, the bits that fall on the floor, they just shovel all them up and then remelt them.
Just stick it together.
Yeah. That's why you get the bits of hair in there and...
I don't get any pleasure out of eating that shell of an egg. I don't see... It doesn't really do anything for me. I only want to eat the sweets inside. Like a child.
But the shell's made of chocolate, though, Luz.
Yeah, but I just find that it's too much. It's just way too much chocolate. A chocolate bar is enough chocolate, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
an egg is like so much chocolate.
Well, no, not really. It just looks like a lot because they've shaped it.
But could you eat a whole chocolate egg?
Oh, yeah.
It's not solid, is it?
No.
It's like
but-
Although...
It's monotonous, though. It's
Although
the same old.
I would like a solid chocolate egg, wouldn't you?
It'd break your teeth off.
With a
trying to
little
eat
hammer.
it.
Like
Well,
with
no,
the-
I'd scrape it off with my top teeth.
Oh, no.
Just
a
like
little bun.
nibbling it, I go...
Yeah.
Licking it. Oh, no. Anyway, the mice love it. So we popped it in, and we went to check on it, and they're so light, the mice, that you don't realise there's one in there. We opened it, and a
shake
little
it.
nose came out. And so we quickly trapped it shut.
If only this was television. You just did the whiskers. That
Yeah.
was perfect. Flapping her fingers in front of her face like that to denote the whiskers.
And so we then had to release it.
Release it?
We had to release the mouse.
Well, what was the point of that?
Because we don't want it in our house.
Yeah, but where did you release it? Or did you rehouse it
In
or
a
something?
park. Nearby.
Oh, right.
You're not really supposed to do that, actually. You're supposed to do it within a mile of where nobody lives.
Well,
But
how are you
where
going to do that? Exactly.
I
Take it out
can't
to
do
sea.
So, anyway, so he'll probably come back, because apparently they often
Homing
have a little-
mice.
Yeah. But who knows? But it certainly seemed quite calm and serene when we came in today, and I couldn't smell any little droppings, so hopefully, maybe little Mousie's gone elsewhere now.
Right.
It's good news, isn't
It's
it?
not wanted.
Without killing it, though. That's great, isn't it?
You didn't even reach for a hammer.
No, because I had thought about the snap traps before we left.
Yeah.
Because I thought the dog won't be there, we could lay them all out. But then I thought the thought of coming back to lots of dead mice would be horrible.
Yes. Smelly, too.
Well, they're very little though, aren't they? So they probably wouldn't smell that bad.
Practically a mouthful each.
Oh.
Should have just borrowed a cat for a week. Would have solved all your problems.
Actually, Sheila did offer, the neighbour across the way.
Oh, Sheila?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sheila. I was wondering what happened to Sheila. How is she?
She's alright, actually, not too bad. She often seems a bit drunk, actually, when she's out in the garden, talking away to her
Are you
cat.
aware that you're talking on the radio?
Yeah, it's okay.
Drunk? Not that anybody has any idea who you're talking
I think she
about,
said she was
but...
called Sheila. Sounded a bit like Sheila. Might not have been. Could have been Maureen. I'm not sure.
Probably throwing abuse at you.
That's all right. She likes the dog, but she says, "Oh, my cat doesn't like your dog." But you know, I said, "Oh dear," and I said, "Oh, we've got a couple of mice." She said, "Borrow the cat. Borrow the cat." So maybe we'll borrow Sheila's cat.
It's like it's like a trip down to Ambridge, isn't it? Somebody stop her.
I'm aware that I'm sounding slightly crazy.
Hello, Margaret. Oh, Margaret.
Hello.
Hello, Margaret. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Great. What's up?
You were talking earlier about all these dreadful programs on television.
Yeah.
And I agreed with 90% of what you said. But the question I'd like to ask is, what on earth would you put in their place? There's so much airtime and so little imaginative television.
Well, there are repeats of good things that used to be on, or just shut the TV station down. It's not necessary to have 24-hour television. It really isn't. I mean, the audience to these channels is virtually non-existent at night. Just shut them down.
Oh, good idea. I very rarely turn my television on because I'm so keen on radio and it has so much to offer.
And it's cheaper. I mean, it's just it's so much cheaper, and especially if it's public money.
Yeah, you get good quality programs for a fraction of the price.
Yeah, free, in fact.
Yes, and I mean they do all this public participation television because that's also cheap because they don't pay people and.
Well, it's cheap. It's cheap as far as TV goes, but, any kind of TV, the cost is enormous.
Yeah.
And because it's so enormous, then they have ever cheaper ways of filling up the time, which is why we've got all these reality shows.
And they're all dreadful.
Yes, there's no script involved, there's no actors, so there's no expensive element to it, which is why they just go on and on and on, and we'll never see the end of them.
No. Oh, what a dreadful thought.
But it would be actually better if they just shut down, wouldn't it?
Yes, the nicest bit is when they go on strike and then you don't have any television.
Well, that'll never happen. Unfortunately, that will never happen.
No, and if we shut down these stations, then all we'll get is American sitcoms replacing them.
That would be great, because they're funny.
Well, Friends is funny, but...
Friends is still funny, yeah. Friends is still funny, Third Rock from the Sun's still funny, Larry Sanders is still funny, Huh?
No.
What do you mean, no?
Third Rock from the Sun is pathetic.
Oh, come off it, Margaret. It is not. It's one of the funniest sitcoms in history.
No, it's not.
I'm telling you it is.
It's all more of the same.
Well, you're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
Well, you are wrong. That's you wrong, that is. Third Rock from the Sun is hilarious. And I watch it over and over and over again, and it's still funny. Anyway, how about Tallulah?
Hello, you.
Hey, you.
Hey.
What's up?
Oh, shall I tell you what's up?
Please do.
Okay, I've been on the radio, San Francisco, yesterday.
Really?
Oh, yeah, sort of. But, you know, I knew the radio station, but I discovered they had a brilliant webcam, because you, LNBC, seem to be rather shy about the webcam business.
I don't want a webcam pointing at me, no way.
Yeah, but I realized that it was the equivalent of your rock and roll radio station.
Yeah.
It's called Le Bone. And
it's called the what?
Le Bone.
It's called The Bone.
Le Bone.
Lebone.
Yeah.
Why is it called Le Bone?
I have no idea, but most famous rock musicians are there as guests, and they have absolutely the equivalent of your playlist.
Right.
Of your
Classic rock station.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I was so touched by this, the freedom, the way they have. The camera was staring it right into their face. So I came up with an idea, and I thought, because I've got a good friend in San Francisco, I thought if this guy hears me, or a mention on the radio, he would probably do a car crash.
Yeah. Big shout going out.
Yeah. So I wrote an email, and it actually came out on air, but instead of doing the car crash thing, I made an advertising for my brother who will be in San Francisco in 2 weeks' time.
Your brother being?
The Michael Schenker, yeah.
Michael Schenker, rock god, yes, of the Scorpions.
Yeah, so they discovered me, because normally people don't know I exist, and now I shout out loud worldwide that I do exist. So they got to my MySpace link and said, wow, there's somebody else from that family. And I saw all that. I saw that on the webcam.
They've got a lot of time on their hands over there, don't they? I don't do requests or shouts going out.
I didn't do a request. I just said, hey, you've got a cool playlist, man.
And they mentioned your name on the air.
Huh?
And they talked about you on the radio.
Well, and then they said, look, we've got an email. Wow. And then they read out my email and said, wow, that's amazing, you Schenker sister.
Blimey, because normally on music radio you talk for more than 10 seconds and the light goes on. The boss is calling. You're fired.
No, it was really cool, and I recorded it on my... It was absolutely fabulous experience to be on San Francisco radio. It was brilliant.
Well, I can only dream of being on the radio, Tallulah.
Why, you hadn't... You didn't... I know, you've got an overdose.
Yeah, one day, hey. Now you're famous, huh? Well, don't ask me to read your name out on the radio, because there's absolutely no way I'll do that. No chance.
Hey, you! I'm going on the road again soon.
Really? With Davy?
No, with my band Viva.
It's a Manfred Mann reference.
Oh, I didn't catch this.
Davy's on the road again.
Okay.
Okay, what's your first date?
We were asked to play in Sweden, and that's where...
Right, any over here that we can...
Oh, I will let you know, because the musicians will come from London, while the singer is coming from Switzerland, the original one.
Right. Okay, well, as soon as you get a date set up, then I promise I won't advertise it on the radio. Okay.
Okay.
Something wrong with me. I've got to go. Otherwise, I'm going to expire right here on the air. Cheers, Tallulah. It's LBC.
This weekend.
I just want to tell you all how happy I am to be back in the studio, making a picture again.
Don't you want to... Every time I play that, I just want to throw my hands in the air, making a picture again. I loved this story. Tesco's staff... What, Tesco's, without mentioning any brand names, you say? Threatened to call the police when Andrew Williamson tried to buy 8 pasties.
What? Are you being serious?
Yes.
What sort of pasties?
I'm glad you asked. Taxi boss Andrew, 48, was told to put 2 back because there was a 6 pasties only rule.
What? What, it actually said on the side,
yes.
You're only allowed 6 pasties?
Correct. And when he argued, staff at the supermarket warned that they would call the police.
That is insane.
The Ginster pasties have been reduced from around £1 to 36p for 2 after reaching their sell-by date. Dad of 4 Andrew picked them up for a family tea for 8 people. He said, I was stunned when the girl at the till said I could only have 6. I started to ask other customers around me, and they thought it was stupid as well. They were pasties, not paracetamol, so it's not likely I could overdose on them.
Well, I suppose it could. Harden up his arteries a little.
I'm on about 6 pasties a week now, man. But I can handle it. I'm just feeling a bit fat at the moment, that's all.
Romford, hello, James.
Hey, Nick.
James.
That's really weird, actually. You just saying about buying large amounts of one item.
Yeah.
Completely off subject, but I was at the Yellow Arches today, drive-through.
The where? Oh, yes.
That was code for without saying the actual
Right.
company name. See what I did there?
Very good.
Yeah. Anyway, Nick, you're running an advert on your on LBC at the minute for the latest Nokia phone.
Oh.
You know, the
yeah,
5
excellent.
megapixel and all that. Yeah.
Mhm.
I've got it, and I've been messing around with the video. I look after my little boy on Saturday, so we went to the drive-through, and I'm filming it all the way up, and I'm filming, and there's a lady at the first window, and I had my other friend on the speakerphone on my car phone. So I was messing around. I said, 1 Happy Meal, please, nuggets, and I said, and 20 Big Mac meals, please. And she looked at me. This is while I'm filming her on the phone, and I expected her to start laughing or say, don't be ridiculous. She went, is that medium or large? And I just couldn't believe it. She was straight up, and then she was like getting the serviettes out and the stuff. I was like, no, are you mad? I was joking. Of course I don't want 20. She actually said she thought I might be buying for a football team. Bearing in mind I'm in a Ford Focus with my little boy, so I don't know where she thought I had the football team.
Well, you might have been Roman Catholic, might have been a large family.
But 20 Big Mac meals?
Well, it's not...
No automaton, though.
Well, it's not an insane request. I think you're being very unreasonable, James.
Oh, well, okay. Well, that wasn't really what I phoned in, but it was just weird because that happened to me today. But I was going to ask you, Nick, you just said about being famous.
Yeah.
What's it like because you're quite a well-known sort of name, and your voice is obviously really recognisable.
Well, no one has ever heard of me. I'm on Saturday night. I have an audience of 0.
Well, that's not quite true. I know loads of people have heard you that don't even listen to LBC since I spoke about you in conversation. Seriously, I mean...
Are they all social workers?
No, but I was just... All right, well, maybe just you and your group, you know, and your sort of comrades. What's it like being famous without your face being around? Do people sort of know you?
Never. Not once.
Never at all?
Not once ever has anyone said, oh, you're... No, not once. I'm not famous in any way, shape or form. No one has ever heard of me.
But you're more famous than I am. Or Lucy, for instance.
Yeah.
Mate, you've been on the air here for about the past 3 or 4 minutes. You are just as famous as I am.
Well, I'm probably on the air on LBC more than you, because I mean, annoy every single DJ all the way throughout the day. But if somebody said to you, who's James from Romford or who's Nick Abbott, I think they'd recognise you more, wouldn't they?
Yeah, maybe. Although they will say that bloke with the 20 Happy Meals. And then we'll all know who we're talking about.
yeah.
All right, thanks a lot, James.
Okay, Nick,
Cheers,
see you
mate.
later.
What is so happy about those meals, by the way? There's nothing happy about them. What's so happy about them?
I think they're pretty cheap, aren't they? Isn't it?
Oh, is that it?
Yeah. Happy fat food.
Feltham. Hello, Imran.
Nick.
Imran.
I think I recall speaking to you last week on Clive Bull's show.
You recoil speaking from me on...
Don't coil, I call.
Oh, right.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, what was I going to say?
I don't know. It sounds like you've run out of material. Well done, mate. Do you know that we are the hardest working... I am the hardest working man in show business, and that's even James Brown says that.
Does he?
But he's dead.
Is he dead? I had no idea. I didn't even know he was ill. He's not dead, is he?
Yes.
Like I said, James Brown's dead. Everyone knows that. What a stupid thing to say.
Last year, wasn't it?
Was it? Well, he was in the paper just the other day.
What?
James Brown's still dead, that's what they said.
No.
Don't you remember the open coffin?
No.
Yeah. He was in a... You talked about it on the show.
Did I? I don't listen to this show. I hate me.
Has no one ever recognised your voice in a shop?
Never.
Seriously? Oh, what about...
Well, I've got no listeners. Why would anybody recognise my voice?
Oh, now, come on. But what about when you're handing over your card? Has no one ever gone, oh...
Never. Not once. Sometimes I think about it when you talk to a company on the phone.
Yeah.
And they say, what's your name? And sometimes I say my name and I think... maybe I better use a false name, but you can't do that when you're talking to your credit card company, because they'll wonder why
While you're
Mr.
lying.
Smith is using Mr. Abbot's card. But no, not once ever. Never.
Have you never been tempted to kind of hover over your name on the card?
Well, people don't even recognise my name when I tell them what my name is. I mean, it's not that they don't recognise my voice. No one even recognises my name. No one's listening to me, ever.
Well, we are.
Well, you'd recognise me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not about to call you.
Thanks. And a rush back especially.
Yeah, well, that was nice. And when did you get in?
2:30 we landed, and then waited for our luggage for nearly an hour. I got in at 4:15, and then
Which airport?
Heathrow.
Right.
So it wasn't
Well,
too
that was
far.
your big mistake.
No, that was good. I wouldn't want to go to Gatwick. My favourite airport...
Stansted.
No, Southampton.
Southampton?
Southampton, it's great. Cheaper flights, no problem parking, just a really small airport, no fannying about, it's just easy.
Can she say fannying?
I did.
I think so. You're totally out of control. You might be able to get away with that on Spanish radio, Luz.
Oh dear.
Completely different. You have to get yourself together. You're not on holiday now.
I know, I still feel
Are you still drunk?
No. Do you know what, though? It's 1:30 in the morning for me now.
Right.
I'm still in Spanish time.
Yeah, well, never mind about that. I've been working my face off all the time you've been lounging around, getting. You probably started drinking straight away after breakfast, right?
No. Oh, people were doing that in the airport as well this morning. Drinking pints of beer
In the
with their
airport?
breakfast.
Oh.
It's disgusting.
That is disgusting.
I don't understand that. And
Bloody
even
Mary,
wine and
at
stuff.
the most, a Bloody Mary.
Oh, well, that wasn't on offer. But
Or
just like, and
a
their
vodka
pints
and orange.
Of, like in a plastic beaker of just
Classy.
Oh God, I hate that, and it makes me feel really sort of uneasy when there
Unclean.
are big fat people getting on the plane and they've clearly been drinking for the last couple of hours.
Now, why would you say fat? That is so sizist of you.
Oh, do you know what I heard the other day? You know,
Yes.
you know beer
Yes,
bellies.
I do, actually. There's no need for you to say it, because I know exactly what you're going to say.
Do you?
What?
Beer bellies
Yes.
aren't anything to do with just beer. It's purely to do with people stuffing their chops. And it can't be associated with just beer. Fancy that?
Well, I think it's an outrageous position to hold. Why?
Well, because you know we often call them beer guts, but
Well,
they're
yeah,
not
they are,
necessarily. No, apparently not. It's to
Well,
do
if
with
you
the amount you've
pour-
consumed.
Well, of beer. If you pour pint after pint after pint in your stomach, it will swell naturally, because it's not. I mean, an ordinary person like Kylie Minogue's stomach, for instance, is the size of a walnut. If she poured 15 pints in it, it would expand.
Yeah, no, but the point is you're probably washing it down with chips and pasties.
Are you saying yeah but no but?
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what she's saying.
So, can you...
I want to show you something.
Yeah, how come George Michael's not in prison? I'm going to start a campaign. Send George Michael to prison. I mean, if you or I had been found slumped at the wheel of a car that was running in the middle of the road with drool dripping down my chin after having sex with a tramp, we'd be in prison.
You might.
And they just
nice
let
way
him
of
off.
putting it.
I don't understand that. And it didn't just happen once, it happened time and time and time again. You see, it's not just in America where money will get you off, where you can get away with actual murder by dint of being rich and famous. It happens here. The Americanization of this country is complete.
Yeah.
Bob Kiley, what is going on there? I mean, I keep writing, every time I hear the news, I write that statistic down, and I haven't got around to it yet because we've been dealing with a lot of important issues.
Yeah.
Always like to deal with the issues on this show. Bob Kiley, this guy, it's Red Ken's appointment, right? Mm-hmm. Ken Livingstone has appointed this chap, and he is responsible for paying him this amount of money. Is that correct? This very same Ken Livingstone who's moaning and whining and bitching and complaining about the 400 grand that was spent on this stupid logo for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Which, we're told, was, oh, it's okay, don't moan about it, because somebody paid for it out of their own pocket. Who?
Did it cost very much? I mean,
£400,000.
But it can't really cost that much.
Yes, and the figure will apparently touch $1 million when they add in the cost of animating it.
But I could probably do it on word art.
Yes. You could look in your
Couldn't I?
in your doggy litter tray and come up with something that you.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very frustrating. I bet you talked about this, though, the other day, did you, a lot?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Do you like the logo? I won't go on about it, but
it just doesn't look like anything. It's... I dislike it because of the amount of money that's attached to it. But we keep being told, it's all right, don't moan about it, because it didn't come out of public money. It came out of an individual's private account. But at no point are we told who this individual is, unless I missed that information. Did you read about that, Alex?
Well, I read that that it was private money.
Yeah,
that's all they said.
Exactly. Whose private money? I don't believe that for a second. We're paying for it. Why would a private individual pay for the logo? Unless there was some sort of deal on the back end.
Exactly, if they were attaching another logo on it.
A percentage of the sales of T-shirts and mugs and whatnot.
Or dual sponsorship or something.
But if that's the case, then no one would spend 400 grand on a logo unless they knew that they were going to get 10 times that back in a percentage on the deal of selling the logo. And if that's the case, then we shouldn't have given it away to a private individual. We should have kept it for ourselves, and the public should have spent the money on it so that we can reap the benefits afterwards. Yeah. So there's no good way out of this, and I don't believe for a second that a private individual paid for it, because if so, they would have told us who it was. So we paid for it. 400 grand. And you know what? The company that charged us for it, they won't stop laughing until the Olympics. This is the funniest thing they've ever done.
So how are we paying for this? Through the GLA?
I've got no idea. Not a clue. All I know is that we'll be paying for it. Yeah, it'll be just one way or another, yeah. They'll just add it to the list. And seriously, if we can't get the logo right, what chance have we got to get the Olympics right? We are screwed. They're going to be building all these things out in a place that nobody wants to go. They'll be building all these flats in an area that no one in their right mind would want to live. And the only people that are going to make any money about this are the developers, who, I would imagine, are close personal friends with the usual list of suspects. And they'll just keep it all in the family, as usual. Stinks, doesn't it?
Absolutely does.
And who's going to pay for it? We will! And what are they going to build? A lot of things that no one will ever use again, because that's exactly what happened in Barcelona, it's what happened in Greece, it's what happened in Australia, it's what happened everywhere they ever do the Olympics. They build a lot of things, and they say, oh, no, don't worry about that, it's a velodrome now, but we're going to turn it into an ice cream stand. And nobody wants to go there, and they'll just put a lock on it, and then walk away, and it'll just gather dust forever and a day. Who needs a velodrome?
Oh, sad, though, isn't it?
Well, it's just silly.
I mean,
yes, and I just find the whole thing very suspicious. Everybody was leaping and jumping and cheering and wailing, oh, we've got the Olympics, we've got the Olympics. And when I was watching them on TV, I'm thinking, oh, no, we've got the Olympics, we've got the Olympics. Nobody's going to benefit. Everybody in this country is going to do exactly what they would do if it were in France or in Kuala Lumpur. We'll watch it on television, because it'd be too bloomin' expensive to go, and all the best seats for all the events that people actually want to see are going to be taken by corporate. You won't be able to get in. And so we're going to watch it on TV, but pay for it. If France had won, we'd watch it on TV, and the French would pay for it.
Yeah.
And as I say, the only people that are going to benefit are the developers, who are close personal friends, etc. and so on. As usual. Screwed again. Never mind, eh? Sunbury. Hello, Peter.
Good evening. How are we?
All right, thanks.
Good. Just want to throw a question open, really, to everyone. Has anyone got a surname, or do they share a surname with, say, someone like Ian Huntley or Michael Ryan, or basically, have anyone got an unfortunate surname, and have they had to change their surname or something like that? If you know where I'm coming from?
Well, I know what you're saying, but why are you saying it?
Well, no, I'm just thinking, I mean, if obviously you've been around for, say, 25 years and your name's Ian Huntley, and all of a sudden another Ian Huntley is in the news, and all the wrong reasons, how do you deal with that? When you go into a restaurant and you say, oh, my name's Ian Huntley or whatever. Is it something that's hard to deal with?
Right. Oh, I'll throw that out there. It's a topic. Thanks a lot, Peter.
Yeah.
We'll ask Marilyn Hitler if she calls in. Here's one in, have I dealt with Romford, James?
All right, Nick, sorry.
Have I dealt with you already?
Yeah, you have. I just got put straight through. I was actually just ringing up to tell Lucy something, but I'll tell you if you want. I don't mean to depress you, Nick, but I just asked about 3 different groups of people if anyone had ever heard of Nick Abbott at the Gallows Corner Kebab Shop.
And the answer's no.
This is a reason to be cheerful, Nick, from yesterday, right? No one had heard of you apart from, there was a guy there and I got his name, I've got his phone number as well, so I can ring him back and double check it. You can even get him on the air. His name's Martin. He's a black cab taxi driver in Romford. He was actually listening to LBC while I was speaking to the group of people. He was parked right outside the kebab van.
Right, he's listening to this show, and still he's never heard of me.
Yeah, he was like, who? No, so that's one taxi driver, but they were all really drunk, and I was going to ring up and say, do you want to do it on air? But even a 7-second delay wouldn't have cut out the amount of swearing I've probably heard, so...
All right.
So that's a result.
Well, thanks for the good news, James.
Okay.
Cheers, mate. Ta-ra.
See you, mate.
Here is Battersea. Hello, Franco.
Hello, Nick.
Franco, I'm all right.
I took a bit of offence with you saying, who wants a velodrome? I just want to address a few points. This country likes their football, likes their cricket, likes their whatever sports, tennis, that they try and compete.
Oh, tennis.
Boring!
Yeah,
Yes.
well, exactly. And they try and say, we've got a chance of getting a Wimbledon champion. But if you look at cyclists, in the last World Championships, track championships, Great Britain came top with 8 gold medals, which has never happened. So, in a way, at least it's a sport that Great Britain are doing very good at. So, to say that, well, maybe we don't need a velodrome, I think here at the moment we've got the best track cyclists in the world.
Yeah, and you know what? No one cares, because it's just so dull. It's more boring than swimming.
Well, I don't know about that. At least you can see people riding around the track, but you can't really see them in the pool, can you?
Just the bobbing heads, yeah.
And as well as the skateboarding, well, I don't know about that. I don't know what UCI are involved in, but they need permission from them. I don't.
Yeah, no, me either. Maybe they're the law of anything that's got wheels.
Yes, possibly, but yeah, I don't really agree on that being.
So we should be celebrating cycling because it's the only thing that we're actually good at.
Well, are you
commuting?
Are you going to go and watch the
No.
Tour de France?
Am I going to Tour de France?
It comes over here.
Oh, but who cares?
Oh well, you'll probably change your mind.
No, I won't. I definitely won't. Tour de France.
Yes.
Oh, come on. I wouldn't mind touring France, but I wouldn't cross the road to see the Tour de France.
The prologue starts here in London. And
yeah, please tell me more.
Boring! Oh, dear. Well, it's certainly a spectacle, so I'm sure you enjoy it more than skateboarding, which is boring.
Yeah, as soon as I can tear myself away from staring at the wall, I'll go and have a look at the Tour de France. Thanks a lot, Franco. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Bye.
Tour de France. What are they doing over here, anyway? Like, the French people are so bored, they shipped it over here. Even they can't stand it.
Now, Alex likes watching BMXing. What do you think about that?
BMXing?
You know.
What, where they go up and down and around and like over hillocks?
Yeah,
It's sort of like
ramps.
mogul skiing, but on a bike.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I like the stunt bikes as well. I know it comes under the same kind of thing as the skateboarding, I
Well,
guess.
I tell you what, it's better than skateboarding because you can do more impressive things faster and quieter, crucially. There's no rumble, 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 clack, which is what skateboarding is. Oh, I hate that. Anyway, do you know that we are the hardest working people in Europe?
Are we?
Yes. Work-mad Brits slave away longer than any other European nation, new research has revealed. Not you necessarily, Lucy, with your casual attitude to work, just strolling in whenever you like, you and your fancy holidays. Around a quarter of the workforce, about 7 million of us, graft for more than 48 hours every week.
Do you?
Me included.
Really?
Well, I was 7 hours a day doing a talk show, a talk show and a,
7 hours a day?
Yeah.
In total?
7 hours in total, every day.
Yeah.
So, 7 times 7, that's almost 30.
Yeah.
Actually, 7 sevens, that's more than most people work ordinarily. 48, that's 49 hours.
49.
And they're moaning and whining about 48 hours. But you see, for at least half of those 48 hours, you're not actually doing anything at all. You're making tea and moaning about, oh, he's got my mug, you know. And just putzing about on your little pewter, answering emails and surreptitiously looking up, you know, checking to see,
The biggest whopper of the year.
or whatever it is that you're, checking. And staring out the window and, you know,
Ordering
thinking about
your food.
lunch and, yeah, all that stuff. So for half the working day, anybody working in an office isn't working, and you know that's true. But if you're on the air, then you're concentrating, like I can't just stop work. Here's what it sounds like if I stop work here and just look out the window.
No, we're not going to let you do that.
See? You have to fill in the gap. So it's intense pressure.
It is extremely pressurising.
Yeah. I can't believe it. I work for more than most people, or I have been working for more than most people work, doing, and when I'm working, I'm working at least 5 times as hard as anybody else. I am the hardest working and bravest person that has ever
really?
lived. Yeah. And I'm not exaggerating.
Are you trying to tell me that this is your act?
Don't be silly. Back to this long hours thing, which is, this will all come as news to you, Luce. You just drift through the working day. La, 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 la. You're going.
I do not.
She does, I've heard it.
Don't do a single thing.
I do like to sing along, actually, as I work.
That must be really annoying for everyone around you. What do you sing?
Anything, just make things up.
I wonder what day the podcast will arrive this week. What do you reckon, Alex? I bet Wednesday.
Cheek.
Yeah, at least.
Was there any problem with the podcast?
When you were away? No.
No, on the day I left. My last day. With you? No.
I don't know. I didn't check.
No, went through really quickly.
Amazing. Our long hours have even put the workaholic Americans in the shade. I find that surprising.
I thought the Americans only had, like, 1 week off a year.
Well, I don't think they're putting that into account. I think they're just saying that 48 hours every week is what we work, and in a working week they perhaps work less. But we get
Holiday.
5... How many weeks holiday do you get?
I think it's like 25 days holiday plus your bank holidays.
Really? You just don't know you're born, do you?
Oh.
Mind you, on closer reflection, I usually only work 2 days a week.
Exactly.
It's only
I mean, that
lately.
must be hard.
It's only lately that I've actually been doing any work at all.
And the good thing is you haven't moaned about it at all.
Me? No. Well, it's not in my nature.
You just took it in your stride.
Yeah,
It'd be nicer to do none.
Oh, I know. Well, it's like I said the other day. I did none for well, I thought it was 2 years, and I was so out of it. It was actually 3 years. I'd lost a whole year.
You'd forgotten about it.
Well, yeah. I came back on the air saying, "Hey, I haven't been on the air for 2 years," and somebody called me up and said, "It's 3."
Oh.
I lost a whole year.
Oh dear.
I must have been drunk. The survey by the UN's, yeah, and that's right. Americans only get 2 weeks holiday a year. That's
It's nothing.
Well, that's shocking, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
2 weeks.
I think that's really that would really depress me.
It's mean, yeah. The survey by the UN's respected International Labour Organization, whoever they are, shows Peruvians clock up the most hours of all. Well, they're probably taking their own product, aren't they? 48 hours a week's nothing to them. They're awake all the time. Of the nations polled, Norway and the Netherlands were found to have the fewest workers toiling for more than 48 hours. Because they were too busy having hot, tall, blonde sex with each other. There's only so much they can pack in the day. We top the overtime league among Western European countries. That's sort of surprising, because you think we're about kind of like a workside bunch. Well, I know I am.
Yeah, I think people do work quite hard. Well, in London, certainly they seem to. But maybe, is it nationwide?
Yes, but the research revealed that there were also big regional differences. Londoners put in, by far, the longest hours. We're number one.
Mm.
And we have to get up and travel in and out on the tube.
Yeah, with a horrible commute. Well, I suppose people in London are more competitive. You're earning more money and, you know, you can't afford to slack off, can you?
Many employers dismiss complaints about the negative impact of overtime. Stress is the new bad back. People are now so aware of it that they use it all the time as an excuse for a sickie. I have never thrown a sickie in my life, in any job, ever.
No.
If I'm not at work, you know I've got a tube of oxygen going up my nose.
Well, I would hope so.
What?
Not just for a cold. You've got to look really ill.
Yeah. No,
Well,
if
I
I'm
think that's fair enough.
If I'm not here, then I am having another near-death experience. And suffering it bravely, I might add, and without complaint. I barely,
I'm sure.
I barely speak about my illnesses.
No. You really should a bit more.
How's your bad back, by the way?
Oh, I'm glad you asked.
Have you had a bad back?
Yes, I have.
Just in the last week or so?
I could barely move. Barely sit, walk, stand, lie.
Oh dear, on your hours? That must have been horrific.
Well, I expected to be ill, because normally when you've got a lot of work to pack in, and they're horrible hours, you know, sleeping for 5.5 hours a night, normally that's when illness will strike, when you need to be at your most perky and tip-top.
Could you sleep in the daytime, though, in between?
I tried to take 2 naps a day, and the first one stuck, and then the second one, you know when you're lying down and you need to pack in a nap rather than you just having a nap.
Yeah.
You need to force...
It's a pressurised one.
Yes, you need to force yourself to sleep, because doing a talk show, you can't afford to be bad-tempered. You must be cheery and light all the time.
What?
That's your trademark.
Exactly. And so, just before I would come here, I would lie down, but that didn't work. And after about 20 minutes you're lying down, then you start to get annoyed.
Yeah.
And then you know you're not going to get to sleep. And then your mind just starts churning around.
And then 5 minutes before you're supposed to get up, you think, oh, I could sleep now.
Yeah, you think... And then you come in a really terrific mood and do another super show.
Mind you, even if you do fall asleep, if you're having a crammed sleep, you do feel really grumpy when you wake up, don't you?
Yeah.
Because you actually think, oh, I could have slept for a good hour or two then.
And the amount of times that I sort of come to, but I didn't know that I was asleep. And if you don't know that you're asleep, I like to check the alarm clock before I take a nap, because I like to know how long I've been sleeping for. Because if it's an hour and a half, I almost feel like, you know, as a child, when you used the potty, you called your mum in, and she would say, oh, haven't you done well? You know, toilet training.
I don't really remember this so much.
Well, me either, but I'm just imagining, you know, how it must be. You know, as a mummy, you come in, oh, haven't you done well? You know, as if you sleep for an hour and a half, or even 2 hours, on a nap, you just feel, oh, I've done tremendously well. Well done, you think. And you just feel better for having known that it's that long. Whereas if you wake up and it's a mystery amount of time, you don't know whether to be pleased or not. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I know. Did you see the man who'd stayed awake for as long as he could, who broke the record?
What a nutter.
Which he'd done before. I saw it just before
He was breaking his own record?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he stayed awake for, days and days, and at the end he was sort of standing there pulling his eyelids open to just keep going. And he said he was hallucinating, and he was trying not to vomit, his body just was caving in on him, but he was determined to break that record.
Undoubtedly he had some excuse, like he was doing it for charity, right?
I don't think he was, no.
Oh, right.
For personal achievement. What a weird thing to want to do. I'm going to really batter myself by staying awake for days on end.
Well, he didn't look like a weirdo.
I was hoping I could get my nails clipped and out of the way before you got here.
That's what Paris Hilton said just before they dragged her away, crying in chains. She's probably crying right now.
She probably had them done, though, in between.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. And a quick defuzzing.
Crying herself to sleep. Oh. Best news I've heard ever.
That'd be a good webcam YouTube thing, wouldn't it? A person cell.
Well, there's bound to be somebody in there with a mobile phone, one guard or there's somebody in there who's bound to take pictures of her sobbing her face off. I think that's just fantastic news.
What do you think is the worst bit for her in there? Do you think it's having the toilet in the same room? That must be pretty humiliating for someone like Paris Hilton.
It must be, knowing that as soon as they open the door, that every single inmate in there is going to want to kill her.
Yeah, that probably doesn't help. But they don't see her very much, do they? Because isn't she sort of protected all the time?
Undoubtedly.
She's in a kind of, like, celebrity cell. They have some special cells there. I mean, that's so ridiculous. So she's only coming out for meals. So
and she's not even eating those.
No.
She'll go on hunger strike.
And didn't she buy the security guards hamburgers and chips or something?
Did she?
Yeah. It just goes on and on. It's ridiculous.
But well done, that judge. I think that's absolutely fantastic. I mean, I'm just going to have a quick peek again, because this picture is so great. There's that face. The face that you just... Oh, you just want to slap it every time you see it. And there she is crying. Oh, boo-hoo.
Put her in the stocks.
So is there anything you missed when you were off on your posh holiday, Luz?
Yes, my bed. Big time.
Right.
It was like a camp bed.
Really?
Full of springs, and every time you moved, it went... Oh, and it was really small. That was the one bad thing.
Right.
I'm going to sleep very well tonight. I've insisted on clean sheets by the time I get home.
And did you have to eat any of that foreign muck?
Oh, I like all the foreign muck.
But most people go abroad and they just gravitate to places that serve, you know, fish and chips and fried egg and beans.
No, I never want to do that. I want to taste what people taste. The only thing I didn't fancy having was the kid baby. You could have kid stew because I'd seen them gambling around.
Actual children. I had no idea.
The baby goats.
Oh, a goat.
Yeah, just like that.
Well, if they're... I've got no idea what that would be like. Probably yummy. Goat? Who eats goat?
My husband's eaten it a few times. He quite likes it.
Does it
Guess
taste a
what?
bit...
People say it's a bit...
like chicken? But chicken isn't like anything. It doesn't taste of anything, which is why people like it so much, because it's bland.
It's stronger than that, though, I think. But...
You know what yummies up a chicken sandwich? Bacon.
You're in love with bacon,
I love bacon.
Oh, dear.
There's nothing bacon doesn't go well with. Ice cream, everything. Yogurt, chocolate, bacon and chocolate.
That's just disgusting. I couldn't do that. That's foul. Oof.
So have you got any snaps? Got any holiday pics? Well, stick them up on the net.
Oh. I could do, but...
Saucypics.com.
You wouldn't want to see those. I'm going to go on a diet now, though. I've decided.
God, don't go on a diet.
Well, not a diet, but I'm thinking of joining a gym. I'm thinking of it.
Yeah, well, it's the thought that counts. Here, the price of using a phone box is expected to go up after British Telecom was given permission recently to experiment with charging customers different prices in different parts of the country. Isn't that an outrage?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of shocking that anybody uses phone boxes anymore. The move comes after intense lobbying from British Telecom, which is struggling to make money from its 64,000 telephone boxes across the country. I thought they'd all gone.
I thought they had too.
This is due to the popularity of mobile phones, of course. Last year, British Telecom raised the minimum price for a call from a telephone box from 30p. That's the minimum price from a phone box. They raised it from 30p to 40 pence. 40 pence to spend a penny. It's the most expensive toilet in the world. What?